Yo, Flubs, what's up? It's good to see you guys. We are live. We have PJ, Ironworks, and Sovereign Soul in the house. How you guys doing?
All good, sir. All good.
Awesome. Awesome.
I think so. You haven't got a mic on.
You muted, man.
You're muted.
But
There you go.
no, man, you must always do it above the lats.
Yeah.
Then it's cooler than when it's below the lats.
And put it a bit forward towards your camera. It makes your head look smaller and
I
your
ain't,
arms look bigger.
I
For
ain't, I
shortening.
ain't trying to get the ladies all in a tizzy. See, I'm just like, I want to keep get all them ladies
Right.
all worked up. I don't want to do that now.
Well, it's good to see you guys. Yeah, going to be chatting with Planarwalk tonight, so I think you guys are excited about that. Going to be talking to him at about 10 o'clock, so it's about an hour. It's going to be exciting, see what we can discuss. I was thinking I want to talk to him about image of God and how he created him in God's image kind of thing. I think that can be an interesting discussion
Absolutely.
because I've seen a lot of negativity by people who's transitioned in the past, you know what I mean? There's so many people that regret it afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, statistics. I don't believe statistics are the best, but statistics say that people who are like who wanted to unalive themselves before, yeah, the statistics are the same. People before pre-op are still the same as people doing it after pre-op. Committing harikari, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I'm not going to go and insult the guy or anything.
No, of course.
Oh, this is that dude that thinks he's a chick.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I know who it is. Right on.
Yeah,
Wow,
Planarwalk.
what is up with that, man?
He's that young dude with the long hair. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be a norm, but I've been seeing this a lot lately with especially the Globe Defenders for some reason. They all seem to be going that way. I don't know if it's like a fad or.
No, I think it's an illness. I think it's mental illness.
Yeah.
I really do. That,
Yeah.
as well as chemical influence in our environment, man.
Yeah.
Alex Jones, everybody likes to make fun of him, and I don't think he's all that to begin with, but I mean, he's brought a lot of things to people's attention. And when he was screaming about the
made the
frog,
dudes gay.
yeah, when he
Yeah.
said the frogs
No,
were
but
turning
he's
gay, listen, that's no shit. Glyphosates are known in the chemistry field as a gender bender. That's what
yes.
they call it.
A
And this shit
gender
is,
bender. That's a good
listen, when
one.
I moved here from Detroit, I moved here to this rural agricultural area. I met more homosexual men here than I did in the city. And I thought, what in the f- is going on? And then I started looking into it. They're using all that Roundup bullshit on these fields, right? It rains, it runs off right into the water table, up into your body it goes.
Well, there is weird sides. I mean, I've even seen even in the bodybuilding industry, people that use drugs, they get fantasies for the same sex for
Yeah.
odd reason. It's one of the side effects,
Yeah.
which is really weird.
I
More
mean, I
ladies
couldn't
like
even
me.
believe when I heard that there were Israeli soldiers were protesting for their right to rape POWs, other men. They were
Wow.
upset because they couldn't do that. They said that was their right. And I thought, wow,
That's
what in the
the.
world is wrong with you, man?
Why would you want to? Exactly. It's got to
No
be a
shit.
chemical thing, like say an illness, a chemical thing, and a demonic thing.
And
It's
it's
not.
not
Yes.
like these POWs are coming out of being captured, smelling all fresh as a daisy and, looking pretty. So there goes that attraction. So I don't know what the hell these people are into, man. I just really seems to me, yeah, demonic.
Steroids, Larry D, Lard or whatever. It's Psalms.
Mm.
It's quite common. They get feelings that they wouldn't have obviously had before they started taking.
But they can't do nothing about their feelings because it goes away. I mean, not the
It's
feelings. I mean, the thing. Steroids
but
stop.
it's sad. But I do also think that. I mean, that's why we don't watch TV at all.
Mm.
If you look at the programming from just the television for the children these days, if you look at the stuff that they pushing that agenda onto them to say, "Hey, kids, it says there's no such thing as sex anymore. There's no such thing as gender. You guys are all the same. You can be what you want. If you want to be a pig, you can be a pig."
Yeah, sex and gender are different and all that stuff. Yeah, there's two sexes but millions of genders. Stupid.
But what can we say? It's quite hectic. But
Yeah. It's part of it. It's part of what's going on these days, man. If you look at it, it's they've been trying to cull the population's numbers for quite some time, and this is just another avenue that they can take. Yeah, and so this is just another avenue that they can take to vastly reduce our numbers, is to allow this type of lifestyle or these series of lifestyles.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you've looked at like communist countries and stuff where they've limited how much children they're allowed to have, now they're seeing it's having an issue because of that, and it's also weird if you look at a lot of the PhD people today. No, we're not financially stable enough to have children, kind of thing. So they end up dying with maybe one child or no children at all because they're just never financially stable enough.
Yep.
That you know money, what I mean? It's sad. And it's getting all over everywhere. They've got some kind of issue that it's bad to have children for some reason.
Yeah.
Where back in the day, remember, children were a blessing. Parents would beg. They'd be like, "When are you just going to have children? Like, when are you going to go out and have kids?
When you going to make me a grandmother? When you got me a granddad? That kind of thing."
Exactly. Yeah. Like to me, I think kids are an absolute blessing. Yeah, they get on your nerves and they burn. They're like lit cigarettes in your pocket to some degree, right? But you treat them well, and I mean the benefits definitely outweigh the bottom outs, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but I mean, even in the old days, I just say, awesome, Murphy. Thanks for becoming a member. Really appreciate it. You rock. Appreciate all my members, by the way. You guys all rock. Woohoo! But if you remember the old days, the grands and the moms and all, they always used to try to set them up on a date with someone. Like, well, I really like this girl or whatever, and they used to set them on a date so they can get it going, so they can hook up one day and actually have children. Now today, it's like in their late 30s, it's like, oh, maybe we want children. We're not sure.
I know.
They do everything backwards.
Getting to the point where it might be a little bit too late. I mean, yes, you can have women and men can have kids right up until whatever. But in general, the average is what, up in the 40s. It's kind of the latest that people do have kids. And if you're only just starting to think about it in your late 30s, then it's getting a bit close, isn't it?
It's a little late, yeah.
I mean, I do know when I was in rehab in 2003, Christian rehab in 2003. There was this. I met a guy who was 16 in the church, and I was in my late 20s at that time, and he pointed me out to his parents, and I just thought he misspoke. He meant grandparents because they were in their 80s and he was 16. So they were like 86. They had him when they were in their 70s. Both of them were in their 70s. She gave birth at 70. So I mean, that doesn't often happen, but that's got to be a gift of some sort, from God.
Oh my goodness, like Sarah and Abraham. My goodness.
Yes. Yes.
That's old as hell to be having kids.
Man. I know.
Daddy had to dust off that sperms, man.
I thought he was kidding. I thought he was meaning his grandparents. No, it's his parents.
That sperm came out with a walking stick and everything.
There we go. So I just see I forgot to send Roger and Nate the link as well.
I was going to say because Roger's not an element. So I mean,
Roger's out there working probably.
But yeah, like I said, at 10 o'clock we'll be talking to Planar Walk and seeing what it says. We're not going to talk about Flat Earth, so it's just going to be mostly other things that he takes seriously, and I think his transition things is probably serious to him. So I would like to talk more on that with him. It'll be interesting, see what he says. So what's your guys' whole spiel on the whole Olympics thing that's been going on?
What's been going on now?
No, but I'm saying, what was it? Because we didn't really talk about it.
Oh, it a freak show. The whole thing was just a freak show. I
Absolutely.
mean, they had this break dancing
Oh, she was terrible.
competition.
Oh man.
Somebody named
She
Ray.
did the
Yeah,
kangaroo
yeah.
pose.
Listen, when I was
Ray
stationed,
gun. What was it? Ray gun.
when I was stationed in Germany, I used to love it. I'd go downtown to Frankfurt, and there'd be these kids. They'd lay down a box top or some shit, and they'd start
Yeah.
doing this break dancing and taking turns. I'd stand there for an hour or more watching them all take turns, and they were good.
Yeah.
That thing looked like she was having an epileptic seizure
Dude,
Yeah.
or
I
some
used to
kind of
break.
thing.
I used to break dance when I was like from 10-year-old to being a teenager. Don't do it so much now, obviously I'm a lot heavier and stuff. I can still flip a windmill every now and again, but
Yeah.
but I start hurting
Yeah.
myself.
Look,
It's
she
difficult
actually
breakdancing, man.
holds. She
What?
actually holds a PhD in breakology. So I guess you could
See?
just make up a
Yeah.
field and have a PhD in it.
You see,
know?
Well, you
these
just have to lie on
degrees.
the floor and look like you're having a spasm and some kind of
When I-
Olympic fit, and you're fine.
Exactly. When I used to dance, like I never seen any moves like that. I mean, the kangaroo. I mean, popping and locking's all good, but I've never seen anybody lock in a kangaroo pose. Never.
Well, you cannot show anything about the Olympics on your channel.
No,
will
they
hit you
block
with
it
They
straight
will hit
away.
you with, yeah, they'll hit you with copyright right away.
You know,
Right
I
away.
did something on the end ceremony of the Olympics, but I don't.
The end ceremony was bad. It was ritualistic of satanistic
Yep.
ritual, and the opening ceremony was they try to give an excuse, say it's a depiction of Dionysus, but no, it was straight out to mock Christianity and the Last Supper. There was
Yeah.
no doubt about it. Even the center stage,
Yeah.
that big bus of a woman that was there, she even quoted off them, "Yeah, the new queer Bible's out. Yeah, baby."
I
Oh
did
my
something on the
God.
closing ceremony, but it's still
Yeah.
there. It's still
I
there.
don't know how you can't see that big like sun halo behind her and not think that's some form of mock.
Deity.
of
Yeah,
the-
mockery.
yeah.
I did something on like I said, it's weird, on the closing ceremony, and I didn't even realize at the time it was the 33rd Olympics as well, and then
Uh-huh.
all these kind of things going on there. But yeah, no, I've still got that live there, but it's maybe because I didn't go too deep into it, sort of. But it's still there anyway.
But I think the thing that was the most triggering though was that guy in the opening ceremony with his balls hanging out, and he's standing next to two children.
Oh, of course, it's ridiculous. The imagery there was awful.
It's like how can you have children? It's fine, Michelle. Go stand next to this guy that's half naked.
Yeah,
He's
see?
waving his balls in your face. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, in the world, the Olympic boxer who was, I think it's totally unfair that male to female boxer, he should never have been able to box against a biological woman. You seen him take it was just a right cross, and one of the bouts was a right cross, and the person had to quit the match, didn't they? It was like, no, that's too strong of a punch for me. I mean, and it's not right. And she won the fight, won the Olympics, and she sorry, don't know what to say.
Now wasn't that there was talks about that woman in particular, or that person in particular, because they said that was a woman. She was just very masculine, and so I'm like, how is that like? I didn't
The one with the beard.
understand. No, the one that beat that Italian lady up.
Oh yeah, there's a whole thing about that. Apparently, she's got a rare genetic thing
Right.
that
That does
she
exist.
just
Yeah.
has great amounts of testosterone from when she
Right.
was young.
My mother actually has that. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a few things. There is a few. So yeah, I do think they were a bit unfair, but because she looks manly, therefore they just assumed she's a
Nice.
man.
Yeah.
Because she did take the blood tests and stuff and showed, listen, yeah, I'm not a
Okay.
man.
Well, I still thought this. I thought it was a pre-op. No, sorry, post-op.
But I mean, if you saw the Italian person standing against it, wow, it's like David and Goliath. Look, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
geez.
It was totally, yeah. I mean, it was like hitting a brick wall. I would say.
Mm.
Because the unfortunate thing, even though she's natural, it's still like putting, let's say, someone who's just getting into boxing against someone like Mike Tyson, who's been boxing for years and he has steroids and everything. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you expect to beat the guy?
Well, that's the same debate when it comes to like almost every single. I mean, even when the NWA came out, right? They were saying, well, what if LeBron wants to be a woman and he goes into the NBA? It's like, well, yeah, obviously there's a difference there.
But you are getting post-op, like male to females, saying things like, yeah, the women should be in this sport. We should just take over this women's sport, and women should. No, good. If you're going to be like, if you're going to take on a biological woman in her sport and say no, they shouldn't be in the sport. We should take over the sport, and they should be in the. No, you should go and have your own category. You know?
Yeah, that's what I agree.
Women be biological women. You know what I mean?
agree. They should make their own kind of categories then up. So if you want to be in a transitioned category, there's your category then. You guys transitioned, male, female, whatever you want to be.
Absolutely.
There's your category. Heck, if it's a clown show, it's a clown show. But don't be unfair towards the other people that are natural.
Yeah, it's funny because even feminists, like radical modern feminists, will go against it because it's actually taking away from what
now they want to say something. Before they were all like, "You go, girl. You don't let no man tell you what to do or how to do it." It's like, okay.
Think about it.
Okay.
I mean, there's trans
We're breaking up, mate.
women getting promoted.
He's breakdancing
because
now.
They're not only one minor trans women get. Yeah, I was saying that trans women get promoted because they're not only LGBTQ, but they're also a woman, right? So a lot of modern feminists, because it takes away from the beauty of women, right? It takes away that a man can actually be a woman when a woman has inherent beauty for what she is, right?
You know what I find bizarre is how Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner, won. What was it? Was it GQ or Time Magazine Most Beautiful Woman one year?
Oh,
yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on. And
What? I know, right?
He used to be an athlete as well, didn't he?
He was an athlete.
He was
And
an
it was
Olympic champion. He was an Olympic champion. He was all over the cover of the Wheaties box.
Wheaties box.
Yeah, man. Crazy shit. But let me tell you something, man. When you start hiring, firing, or promoting people based on anything other than their ability to do what they've been hired to do, you're throwing your whole thing right in the trash, right? If you're only doing it for a tax break, come on. You could really cut a big hog in the ass if it was all tax breaks. You just hire one person and have them be a black disabled lesbian, and you got 3 fucking tax breaks right there, just based on their what? Are those qualifications? No.
I mean, if I wanted to, I could just re-gender myself as a black female in South Africa, and I just get money from the government for every child.
Yeah.
Why not?
Where is
Wait,
that?
they
The
let you do
problem
that in
is
South Africa?
we're not at that point yet where we can, be
Right.
interracial. We can't be transracial. I mean, not interracial.
You'd be
You can be
surprised.
transracial. You can be trans, but you can't be transracial. So that when that comes out,
Actually-
Give it some time.
Actually, there is. People are getting now classified as different animals, so I don't think there's an issue if they say they're a different race.
Yeah.
But look at this, guys. Transgender box knocked out in 21 seconds.
Wow.
So it was a woman that became a man, and I don't know if you guys actually saw this fight. I hope they show the fight on here. Yeah. I think they do show it. Gets knocked out after 21 seconds. It used to be a woman.
What?
I've tried my damnedest to find the actual clip of this transgender man being knocked out, but it is buried deeper than O.J. Simpson. It doesn't fit the narrative or the agenda for her to get knocked out in under 30 seconds. So this woman had transition surgery.
Think about it, okay? Looks built, okay?
Yeah, it looks like a dude.
The contender is not really big.
Built that well, yeah. For a guy who's built that well, but for a small dude, he's built good. You know,
Don't they
you
practically
can't see
get
the stars under the chest. You can see.
they
the
get
stars.
prescribed hormones, so they have growth
Yeah.
hormones. It's
Of course.
essentially your steroids.
Of course.
It's
Yeah.
steroids, yeah, it's steroids. But the
Oh.
problem is, if you just look at it, it's like you think, there's a guy. He's built
It
well.
doesn't-
But it was a woman. Okay,
Does it
gets knocked
strengthen your
out
jaw?
after 21 seconds by. You can see a much smaller guy.
Yeah. Does it
But
strengthen your jaw?
doesn't that tell you about? I'm sorry to say that the guy is superior in this
In strength.
compared to.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's things that women do better than men, and there's
Absolutely.
things that men do better than women.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then we just come
It's
together
the
like
way that nature works,
lock and a key.
unfortunately.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just the way nature works, unfortunately.
And now and again, you will see. You might see a female knock out a guy boxer, but that's not in general. That's minor reports. That's not a general thing. That doesn't generally happen. You know, it
Yeah,
might
no,
happen.
fighting
I've seen a woman knock out a guy.
I
I've
mean,
seen
Fighting
let's
comes to a
just-
lot of things. Like a 200-pound woman could
Mhm.
definitely beat a fight
Oh yeah,
against
I've
let's
seen
say
some woman knock a
100,
guy.
120 pounds, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if you guys had to go, when they say woman abuse, okay, couldn't that be classified as forced woman abuse? Then the guys now had to climb in a ring with a woman. That's identifying as a man now.
Yeah.
Gets her ass kicked straight away. You know what I mean?
This is like the best. This is the best trolling I've ever seen in my life. This is not the best in my life, but this was really good. Watch this. This is great. Let me see. I got the volume up. Yeah. Okay.
This is a queer fat club.
yeah, this is it.
Okay, thank you for joining. We're just introducing ourselves at the moment.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Joe?
Yeah, my name's Joe. I go by he, they, and I identify as 275 pounds.
Okay.
I feel like Jay's kind of making fun of me, though. I know it's kind of a shock. I know. Kind of a new thing.
I'm just,
Do what?
I said I apologize.
Oh, no, you're good.
Are you comfortable leaving the group at the moment?
Why?
I'm not understanding why you're joining the group.
This is the queer and fat group now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I came here for.
Okay. And you said you identify as fat?
Yeah.
Okay. This is just for fat-bodied people.
Yeah, I understand. I identify as a fat-bodied person.
I'm not understanding where you're coming from.
Are you guys comfortable with me here? I mean, I'm pretty chill on my end.
I'm not comfortable, no.
Can we take like a vote?
And that's the thing that's sad about this, guys.
But if you had said anything to them about their preferred whatever,
No, that's what I was saying.
Sounds
Yeah. Imagine if a trans woman came in and says, "I identify as a man." Say, "No, we're only for male bodied. This is only a male bodied place." You know.
But I've seen this a lot, especially with that community. It's a very hypocritical community.
Of course.
So they allowed to say, no, I can identify as a cat or a dog or whatever. But as soon as you say, listen, you're biologically not a cat or a dog, they treat you as a hateful person. And then like this guy comes in, okay, I'm identifying as 275 pounds. Sorry, you're not fat. But you guys can identify what you want. Why am I not allowed to then?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, something like, just say a guy starts going with a woman who identifies as a child. Is that then PDF file Ilya? You know what I mean?
And I've also seen Piers Morgan. They go on there and he says, okay, fine. I'm going to identify as your king and creator. You shall call me from now on your king and creator. The person refuses to do so. So you can identify what you want to, but if as soon as I identify, you tell me I'm not allowed to.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And they'll say, you've got to be serious about it. Come on. You've got to be serious. When you think people can identify as dragons, frogs, whatever, you're telling us to be serious. Come on.
I do really think this whole woke movement thing that they're doing it's a joke.
Yeah, anybody
that supports it should get a wake-up call and just say, listen, we're not going to stand for it because people are just scared of hurting people's feelings. And
it's also
causing more damage.
It's
like
also
law writers
DEI rating.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's all about this DEI rating, and people are getting the lesson already on themselves. Look at the Budweiser Corporation. They got a lesson in it, right? Harley Davidson, they've abandoned their DEI bullshit. We had a little restaurant here in Luray, opened up. I guess Northern
Great.
Virginians had come down here and decided they were going to bring their ways with them, right?
Oh.
So one of the first things they did was they had this drag queen bullshit go on. Nobody went to the restaurant. Nobody goes there. They're shutting their doors.
But that's what I
See,
said.
it's
Thank
not
you.
working.
Yeah. So thank you, Joe Roger, for $2 super chat. Says this is for the pronouns. Get your own today.
And the thing is about a lot of these, especially men to female transgender pre-op or post-op, a lot of them don't try to look like women. They try to look like drag queens with outrageous makeup.
Oh, yeah. It looks.
They don't even look like a woman. They look like.
But think about it.
Nearly.
Think about it. If the majority of people are not woke, as you put it, okay? If we all just stand up and say, no, we won't accept that, then they got no foot to stand on.
Exactly.
But it's because everybody's too scared to offend them.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't want to offend your feelings. But it's okay if you offend us, but we're not allowed to offend you.
And woke is such a contradiction to what they are, because they're fast asleep, that's for sure. They're dreaming. They're not woke. They're not awake, that's for sure.
It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, then it gets into a point where it's like, well, what is the limit? It's like the law writers watched My Strange Addiction and said, every single one of those people, we need to defend them. Like guys who want to marry animals. Is that eventually going to become a thing? Because maybe the animal they can't identify their gender. They're doing that with animals now, of course, now.
They let a woman marry a merry-go-round.
Yeah. I know, like we've seen a documentary of a guy marrying his car and having sex with his car and getting jealous while his wife swapping his car with someone else. And
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Getting jealous at the guy who wife
Think how people are going to abuse the system. I mean, you've had a lot of places where they've abused the system, where a guy goes to a woman's prison for rape because he decided to identify himself as a woman. He went to a woman's prison, but he had 18 rape accounts against him. You know,
that's why I said transracial doesn't exist, because that's used for like benefits and such to get into college. Stuff like that. If you're lying on your,
like Elizabeth Warren claiming to be an Indian,
basically. So that's
Kamala claiming to be black.
Because of frauds like that, they don't really allow that.
Well, there's a guy in I think it was Argentina, which he changed his sex to woman, his gender to woman, to female, so he could retire earlier, and he got more money.
Wow.
There's an actual article. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, it's just changing of the social construct, because we can't say, because your point was, well, why aren't you, dressing like women, acting like women, right? You didn't say that, but and their response would be, well, what is a woman? They've changed the definition, so no matter how you come at them, they always change what it is.
A woman is certainly not a person with a full beard, but caked in drag queen makeup. That's certainly not a woman to me. But like you say, it's social construct, isn't it? It's what people see as male and female.
But I think there's so much wrong with. I mean, people, you do get people that abuse the system, unfortunately. I mean, like this guy, an Argentinian man has recently been accused of changing both his gender and his name so he could retire at the age of 60 instead of 65. Although he acknowledges the changes, the former man claims he went through with them for personal reasons. Yeah.
Wow. See, and things like that, where people might be serious about it, even though I don't believe you should be doing it. People will use that. People that don't have no interest in changing their gender or anything like that, they'll use that to their advantage. It'll create corruption all over the place. It's corrupt already, but it creates more corruption and more confusion for people.
I do think it's mental. It's as simple as that.
I mean, you'd be astounded how many kids in my high school, right? Because they're going to like divisions across country and stuff. Like these are the kids that will go to college and do. They're saying the ones that are less performing. They're saying, well, what if I just transition to a woman? Then I won't even need to, I won't even need to compete. Like it will be easy for me. That's a genuine thing that they're actually like thinking about and considering. So yeah, it definitely will get abused, but then like how much abuse does it really take until they actually like stop it? Until it goes back to, well, man has to be man, woman has to be woman, but
Yeah. I mean, like the other thing I saw the other day when that woman, a so-called child, identified as a cat or something, and the veterinarian refused to do anything on the child because it's like, I'm a veterinarian. I'm not made for human anatomy. I didn't study human anatomy, and she got all pissed off about it. So it's like, how dare you? You're supposed to help my son, my cat son, because he identifies as a cat. You should be treating him. It's like, I don't understand that. I see that as child abuse, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't get it. I thought you were just gonna talk with the person. I forgot who it was again. I'm sorry. I'm bad at remembering that.
Yeah, Planarwalk. That's at 10 o'clock. So
Okay.
It's not gonna speak. Goedemorgen. Lekker slapen. Let me see if he sent me the link. Okay, he sent me his studio restream link. Oh no, that's me. Planarwalk. Okay, I still haven't got it. Cool. But yeah. But like I said, I don't, and it's weird because the people think when you talk about this stuff that you're just a homophobic hate person. That's not the truth. It's like,
is it hateful?
We care about the people, and that's why we trying to let them understand the dangers of getting involved in this nonsense. Because I can go on a spiritual thing and say, yeah, that's spiritual, because it definitely is. But a lot of them aren't spiritual, so they're not going to accept it that way.
No, exactly.
So it's a difficult subject because you just get seen as a hater when instead you're doing it because you care about them.
That's it.
So it's weird.
And even someone that doesn't care about them but just doesn't agree with it, they're not doing it because they hate it. They just don't agree with what you're doing. It's not being a hater.
Yeah. Roger says his phone is faster than his PC. Oh no, man.
Well, it was all right on mine earlier, Roger. It was all right on mine. There was no clanking and clanking. It was all. It didn't pick up all your noise, and that. It was a lot clearer. This earlier on there, Roger.
But I mean, I can show a whole bunch of people that's regretted transitioning. I mean, there's, I think, UCLA, School of Law, Williams Institute, more than 40% of transgender adults in the US have attempted suicide.
Yeah, it's not hateful for me to want you to not go to the side that has the highest suicide rate.
No, it's because we care, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't want people to go down that route and then regret it later on. Because there are quite a bit of people that usually get peer pressured into it, by the way. You'll be surprised how many. You'll be surprised how many people get peer pressured into doing this.
Look at some of these Hollywood mums and dads that are letting their kids be what they want, and that's not the kid's idea. I'm not a 3-year-old in that. I mean, if it's their idea, it's been put into their heads by parents.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if there's nothing physical out of this and it's all mental, then what's the difference between this and doing drugs if they think it's all just, chemicals and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, look at this. More than 40% of transgender adults in the US have attempted suicide. A new study from Williams Institute at UCLA School of Law finds that 81% of transgender adults in the US have thought about suicide, 42% of transgender adults have attempted it, and 56% have engaged in non-suicidal self-injury over their lifetimes. That's quite bad.
Yep. So I mean, I think that the results for pre-op and post-op are still the same when it comes to harikari or attempting harikari or thinking about harikari.
Yeah.
Because like even if they don't consider it, imagine all the depression and anxiety that's linked with it.
And forcibly, they've put this cisgender onto us. You know what I mean? I've never been called cisgender before. You know what I mean? I'm just
For
Just a
people
man.
that want us to be equal, they really like labeling us with different terms and separating us.
Exactly, because we're now cisgender. No, I was never a cisgender.
I was always
No,
just a man.
here's what I am. I'm a dude. I'm a dude that does chicks.
Yeah,
There we go.
That's it. That's
absolutely.
what I am, okay? I ain't got to tuck my wiener and pretend I'm something else. I don't have to scratch in a box and think I'm a cat. That's called fucking insane,
It is.
okay? They used to put people in places for that. See, but
Absolutely.
now they don't have those places anymore. They just dope them up on a bunch of dumb shit and then let them free out amongst us all.
People
Yeah.
would have had,
Then you're the
Yeah.
insane one for calling them out as mental.
once
Yeah.
upon a time, people would have had like a transorbital lobotomy for things like that through your eye socket. You know what I mean? Where you're still awake. You know what I mean? Crazy. Crazy.
Go to
And
the
that's-
doctor and take some pills. You know who takes pills? Sick people.
I mean, look at this. Nearly 1/3 of transgender individuals reported hazardous drinking. 28% had problematic drug use. That's 31%. It says the majority of 82% transgender people have accessed formal mental health care, compared to 47% of cisgender adults. About 1/4 of transgender people sought support from other sources such as religious and spiritual leaders and alternative medicine practitioners, compared to 20% of cisgender adults. Transgender, non-binary people were 4 times more likely to engage in hazardous drinking compared to transgender women. 4 times.
Okay.
That's bad. No, it's if people can't see there's an issue with this, then I don't know.
Yeah, like what's on their side? Their feelings.
Yeah. That's how they feel today. Tony Whitcomb, thank you very much for your £5 which says, I bet all these transgenders believe they live on a ball.
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
And it is, it's about their feelings. They should, and don't, I mean, surely you think people would learn through relationships and stuff, where you thought you loved that person, you felt this intense love, and then it finishes just like that. You know what I mean? And then you realize it wasn't love. Surely you should know about chemical feelings because of things like that, experiences like that, you know? But
Yeah, what's the difference from you being like, I want to be a woman and that kind of dopamine,
Exactly.
you know?
exactly.
I've seen what is it like? There was actually an advert on YouTube that I used to get popped up from this woman that comes and it's like, today I feel gay.
Oh,
Tomorrow I feel myself. But you know what? At least
Gender fluid.
yeah,
That's what they're called. Where it essentially goes on a range. It's on a spectrum, like a lot of other things they like. And I'm liking up. It goes on a spectrum, and they just decide what they are that day or that moment. Yeah.
And that I find that to me is unstable. That's mentally unstable. I'm sorry.
have you heard what Travi Bell said? He said, be careful, you guys. The dipshit mods and Planarwalk live chat are telling their audience to flag this show for hate speech.
They
Wow.
can't
So
because there's nothing.
there-
There's no hate speech.
No.
We're just literally giving citation and
Opinion?
giving facts. So if they do want to flag it, they're gonna have to know that they have to prove it to be hate speech.
Exactly. I don't hate these people. I actually love them. I just hate what they do. Don't hate.
Yeah, and Planarwalk knows we're going to be talking about this tonight, so I'm still
Exactly.
waiting for his link. By the way, he hasn't sent his link yet.
I bet you Brenda be flipping her shit because he can't come on too.
Oh, but Brenda's another story. I don't.
That's just an evil character right there.
Yeah, I don't want
I-
nothing to do with Brenda.
He fucked himself out of being able to come on my show at all for any reason whatsoever when he said that he was going to try to report and get me shut down. Okay, well, you have no place here then, do you?
Absolutely.
So
I mean, I just don't let Brenda in.
Yeah.
And I come to the back door just because of my experience with here and everywhere else. Brenda won't get on there. Definitely not. He has tried. He has tried.
The transgenderism roots are found in the Talmud. Yes, that is true.
It's
lot
a
of these
made up word too. That's a made up word.
Of course.
transgenderism, yeah,
It is.
transformers.
Like
That's why I call them
just like it. Listen, they've introduced these buzzwords that they make up. Homophobe. That's another one. What? Fear of self. You know, words have a base meaning, right? Homophobe. What does that mean? I'm afraid of self. I'm afraid of same. What is the?
Yeah,
Where's
because the
fear?
term homo was originally
I-
used. Yeah, it's all that
I
stuff.
think there's too much phobias these days. It's
Exactly,
just
especially
everybody's got
phobia as a
phobia about
phobia.
everything. If you don't agree with someone, you're all of a sudden phobic towards them.
I know.
No.
Even the term anti-Semite, that was made up by communists, man. It really was to discourage any criticism of actually penalize any kind of criticism of the Soviet control group, the people that were running the show, because they were 70% Jewish. So they came up with this word, anti-Semite. Well, what does that mean? Against Semites. What are
Semitic
Semites?
people
Semites are from the tribe of Shem. Shemites, right? And it's basically an entire fucking language group. So it includes Palestinians, it includes Iranians, it includes Persians, everybody. Okay, so what does that mean? Is it specific to these Khazars? No, it's not. That's just another made up fucking buzzword that they get people to recoil from so that you'll self censor yourself.
Moomin says flattophobia is real though. Yeah, oh, you got it.
Flirtophobia.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely.
Yeah, that's why I just
You
call them
flirtphobe.
Decepticons and Autobots. Decepticons are men to women, and Autobots are women to men.
Transformer.
The Transformers, yes, indeed.
Yeah, exactly. Traveling the globe.
So what does he call it when a man goes into a tent in front of a dressing table and dons a clown apparel? Now, is he trans clown? No, he's just a fucking clown. So are these people that do that are clowns as well? You're still a
Hey,
guy,
man.
you're just a clown.
It's like your point with the police. Like, are you when you have your uniform as a police officer? Are you now trans police, and when you take it off, you're cis police?
Trans authoritarian.
Yeah. But
No,
your whole point about they just make up words and I mean, how long have they been making up words for? It's been a long time, but now they're changing the definitions a lot more.
Oh my God, yeah, and especially now with the Ministry of Truth, it's right online. Everybody goes by what's written down on some web page rather than actually looking into it.
You know what I find out? It's Brenda in his chat saying hate speech and then saying nobody go in there and watch it. Does that mean Brenda's making shit up and saying just trust me, don't go in there and watch it because then you're gonna see it's not what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We are love speech.
So yeah, Brenda. The only hate speech here is by Brenda, by the way.
Brenda's sore. Better about everything.
I mean, I could have put Brenda up for hate speech when Brenda told me God drowns babies and holds their head underwater.
Jesus literally holds babies' heads under the water. Yeah.
Still no scripture saying that, but
No,
I'm waiting for it.
Of course not. But as soon as you say something like you might be a little confused, the demons come out then, you know what I mean? Pea soup, spinning heads and everything.
Also, I want to know, since Brenda's not welcome here, why is Brenda watching my stuff? I thought they don't watch my stuff. Really weird.
Brenda looks like Peter Griffin. I'm sorry.
Moomins says, I'm going to have to make a quick visit to the chat there. No doubt. Moomin.
Oh wow.
But yeah, what can we say? It's unfortunately the subject does piss people off.
Of course.
People just gotta, how can I put it, grow up.
I didn't even realize I turned on my camera, but hello everyone.
Hello, Nate.
Some blue eyes.
By the way,
12 minutes too. I'm still waiting for the link from him though.
yeah. I'm gonna be interested when I see that. Hopefully she doesn't get a little too or he. Actually, I'll call her a she because I want to be respect. I don't know. I just don't really care, to be honest. But hopefully it doesn't get
You see,
to a bad.
That's the difficult. You see, that's the difficult one because they want you to call them something, but I feel because I'm a Christian, it would be me lying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in a hard place. Like, do I call you that because you, out of respect, because you want that, or do I just say no? Sorry, I'm calling you because what you are, because I am a Christian. And I don't want to lie.
Well, fair enough. The only reason I said it there is because I have a misslip because of the amount of times I've just like it's like the names. I associate names by gender, and that's what we did in society,
Yeah,
right?
that's
why
it.
we have gendered names.
That's exactly right. Like when I first was introduced to Brenda, it was on Brandon's when I was just a viewer of Brandon's after Ranty finished the channel, sold it to Brandon. Brenda was on there, and there was no picture of Brenda. It was just the name Brenda and a voice. Now I thought it was a weird voice, but I didn't know I was introduced to Brenda as a she. So when I talk about Brenda, I mainly say she because that's how I was introduced. I forget that Brenda's a dude. You know what I mean? Not that I don't forget it's a dude. It's just because the name, like I said, and I was introduced as she sort of thing, and I didn't know to start off with. You know, so it's if I say she, it's a slip. Yeah, exactly. Spade's a spade. Out of respect for humanity, call a spade, exactly. It is what it is.
My wife just actually sent me something. Let's see if I can quickly save it. Transgender boy. Parents were I'm translating it from Afrikaans to English. Were sued by a school because what? Because they wanted him to. They wouldn't let him use. They wanted to have a public school. You know the toilets where they the boy and the girls together.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they didn't agree with it. So the school is suing the parents.
Wow, unbelievable.
What?
It's really bad.
Yeah, transgender son. Yeah, the transgender son parents are getting sued. Oh, the parents sued the school because they refused him to use the girls' bathroom. But it's a boy.
Oh well, no.
There we go.
I think
The parents are suing the school, guys.
Well, I think the teachers are the right to say no, not going in that toilet. I absolutely agree.
But how do you even get a lawyer to say, yeah, let's sue the school for this?
It's really corrupt, isn't it?
And yeah, that's in Cape Town, it looks to me, if I look at that photo.
But then you'll get other schools that'll be perfectly fine with it.
Seems like over the years it's kind of been like a misdirection from the kids to the teachers. That's the teacher's fault instead of the kids. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know why. It just seems to be attacking the school more rather than other influences that aren't.
Yeah. Okay, because I mean I've seen this as well.
Right.
Oh,
I think the mic's too close to the computer.
Because I've seen this many times. Like it's like, I'm sorry. I don't care what the person identifies as. If I see a man in my daughter's bathroom, I'll identify as the tooth fairy. You know what I mean? I don't care. It's perverted and it's sick. There's a reason why there is a male toilet and a female toilet. It's
Yeah.
as simple as that.
Actions truly speak, and when we see actions of these transformers being, disgusting, what they've been pushing and what they've done to at least the young youth, it's obvious that it's not good. And I'm looking at the actions, not from a place of emotion. Well, it is emotions, obviously, but it's from what I've seen them do, not my preconceived bias because they go against the Bible or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I disagreed with it before I was a Christian, and there's a lot of Christians that disagree with it. So it clearly is definitely a problem. Hello, Ironworks.
That's Vlad the Inhaler, man.
I love that. You should actually make a shirt of that, man.
The inhaler. Yeah, with the job that I have, I don't know. They'll be like, inhaling what?
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Oh, jeez.
Roger Ledwell, who's going to
The
win
sweet
the
air of
huge money on the
Flatzoid.
school? Hmm.
I know what
I
I'm
mean-
about to inhale.
But it's bad because I've seen court cases these days that you think, no, there's no ways that person can even get a case, and they end up winning. I mean, like a person sued McDonald's for being fat. It was McDonald's fault that the guy ate McDonald's every day for 2 years and got fat.
I had a guy here in the States. He
And
broke
won the
into
court
somebody's
case.
house. He broke into somebody's house, and he tripped on a kid's toy, fell down the steps, broke his leg. Sued the homeowners and won.
That's unbelievable. How does that happen?
Oh
What's
my
crazy,
God.
Flatzoid, is that example of the getting fat at McDonald's. Let's take Super Size Me, the movie, how that's been debunked, right? The guy went in there. He obviously did get fat. We won't deny that. And it gave a bad rap on McDonald's. But then people actually investigated, did the exact same thing he did, but, actually did it, better, good, actually. And they realized, oh no, it's actually wrong. This guy was lying the entire time. He was cutting out other things. He was probably eating more than he was, showing the camera. So, yeah, it's a.
He just died a month ago or so.
I think-
I think a month, 2 months ago. He just
Wow.
died. Yep, the guy from Super Size Me.
Crazy.
Like
Well,
that.
it's definitely a thing of your. That's what the point I was making was that it definitely has to do with you as well. It can't you can't put it on others.
I'm going to say thank you, Tony Wilkin, for your £5. Who says, Roger, your money's on the super chat, lol.
Yeah, that's it.
Five,
Thanks, yours.
five Green Bay Packers. I like it.
Thank you very much for this. Really appreciate the support, guys. You rock. Oh, man.
So,
Well, it's going to be an interesting discussion, that's for sure.
Damn, this is
But see, this is the same issue I had when I went on Matt Delante's show when they were the pronouns, trying to attack me on pronouns just because I don't give a damn what pronouns are or how they use them. I mean, why must I? I mean,
I
why
did
must I
think-
conform? Why do I have to conform to a person's pronouns when I clearly see, okay, if you say you're a cat and you're not a cat, I'm not going to lie and say, yeah, you're a cat.
Well, obviously, Matt Dillahunty and Aaron Raw have a pro-liberal, pro-transgender agenda. So that question, I think, is a vetting question to see what you put. And since you put old school still a man, that instantly gave them the idea, the bias that you were against their whole, even though they were there to argue, it kind of gave them that little push that, oh, so you don't even care about trans people? It's like a victimhood mentality.
Yeah, you see,
question that
yeah,
really-
exactly. And it's not that I'm against trans. I'm against them thinking it's okay to make us want to lie just to appease their feelings. I mean,
Yeah.
it's actually sick if you think about it. It's like saying let's say someone had murdered and you watched the murder. Okay, would it be wrong to say, okay, yeah, this guy, you're gonna tell the police, yeah, I saw them, or if they say no, you can't tell the police that you saw the murder because you're going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, it's just like self-identifying as a non-murderer. When you
Yeah,
see
it's all
someone
your
who's a-
fault that I murdered those people because you said you saw me do it. It's the same. It's like
Yeah, the whole
it's
not
such
snitching.
so illogical. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
But it
And the
ties,
thing
but
is, the
that right
peop-
there, you could
Yeah,
say
hold
that
on.
that right there kind of ties into everything else that we're experiencing these days. If you see somebody as obviously a person and then they identify as an elephant or a cat or a hippo, and then you said, well, they're a hippo. No, you're lying to yourself. Here we go again with the whole lying to yourself. And then we can all bring it back to where we are now, right? A bunch of true earthers, flat earthers, to where it's like, look, this place is flat or it's level. It doesn't curve. Well, I mean, it kind of curves, so you just don't see it really. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
And people are gonna say that this is a non-legit, like it's a non sequitur. They don't are the same, but this extreme of animals and even the killer is the exact same because it's a fundamental thing in our base reality, such as biology, XY chromosomes, XX chromosomes.
Mhm.
Right? We have these things set in reality, so to just completely change them would be the same as to say a murderer isn't a murderer because he doesn't identify as one.
That's funny.
yeah.
That's
I mean, think about it. You're going to get pedophiles identifying as young children lovers.
That's what we have now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They're doing
How
that
dare,
now.
yeah.
yeah, how dare you discriminate against perverts and pedophiles?
It's now an
Yeah.
orientation, a sexual orientation. That's been,
Yes.
yeah, it's
And it's
ridiculous.
starting to run for government too. Which I mean, they've already been in government the whole time, but
They're just
now
open about
there's
it now.
yeah. Oh,
It's nasty. Nasty.
It is nasty.
yep. Somebody got to hold down reality, man. I'll do it.
Not truth.
Somebody got to do it.
I'll hold this shit. How are you gonna hold
We gotta hold
reality
down. We gotta hold
with
down our
the
own
earth
local-
rising all
Earth
the time,
is
man?
falling up. Yeah.
Oh,
True.
amazing.
Hang on for dear life.
I
Don't
had
fall off
somebody
the edge.
message-
You have to hang on forever.
Yeah, right. That
I
earth's
had
falling
somebody
up, man.
message me. I had somebody message me earlier to give me a link to Dell and his nonsense going on over there, and says you should go over there and talk to him. And I'm like,
You tried.
there is no talking to Dell. He can't shut his fucking pie hole long enough for anybody to say anything to begin with.
No.
I had to finally just tell him, look, man, I am not interested. I can't half understand him to begin with. Secondly, it's a retarded concept. It's worse than the people that think the earth is rotating.
Yeah.
They've got more proof of the earth rotating than they do of an upward rising earth. If your whole thing's based on a fucking air bubble and free fall, I'm sorry, man.
But
Yeah,
and
I
it's
don't know
all
if you
just-
saw it, Flatzoid.
just-
I don't know if
and
you
it's-
saw Dell's response to the stream we did on him. In his
Yes.
community. Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad. And I mean, they going on all the time. It's literally just them not understanding how net forces work. Just because they don't understand how net force works, they think everything must revolve on Earth is rotating, Earth is moving upwards or whatever.
It's crazy because in that community post he brings up 9.8 meters per second squared. Like that actually has anything to do with the argument. Like that isn't just
Yeah.
like that like we haven't addressed that multiple times. It's
Okay, I see he is
same
live.
point.
He has started the call with me on Discord.
nice.
I think I'll share the Discord as soon as he. Okay, guys, I'm gonna quickly go in. Okay.
All right, go for it.
Amazing.
Oh, Lord.
Hello.
Or YouTube's fault? Oh, here we go. Completely.
How's it going?
That's going alright.
Let's go. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I've been doing well. I had a bit of had some noodles for breakfast. Probably not the best breakfast, but you know. Did you have anything good for tea or?
Yeah. For supper, I had wraps, pork, pork and avo salad wraps.
Oh man, I thought you said rats at first, man. I was
Rats.
like, whoa, is shit getting tough in South Africa, man? What's-
Rat burger.
Yeah, no, it was very nice though. I am eating healthy these days, so I have to watch my calories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I find that generally one of the best ways to eat healthy, at least from what I've found, is to just like cook stuff yourself.
Oh wow.
Generally a pretty good way.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm all for cooking self as well. Definitely.
Dude, just real quick, my wife went to a sunflower festival today with my daughter. And I said, take some pictures and tell me if the sunflowers are facing the sun. They're not.
Really?
That shit's true. That's not
Oh,
just
wait.
somebody making
Where's that
TikTok
one?
video. Look, I'll show you. Hang on. She just sent me-
Yeah. They're in my background there. Guys, he can't hear you quite well, so I'm gonna have a little discussion with him, and then if you guys want to chime in later, then I think that'll be
Cool.
okay. So yeah, Planar Walk. What do you want to chat about, man?
Wow.
Okay, so the first thing I want to chat about is actually something that was brought to my attention recently. This isn't really something too on topic, but and that is, I've heard you're looking for a new camera.
Yeah, I want to look at a new camera because you can see my camera is shitty with the light.
Did my video have anything to do with that? Because it was
No.
very conspicuous.
No, I've been
No?
saying this for a while though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the thing is, that's the whole reason. Because I even have a exercise channel, and I've actually stopped doing that because of my camera quality. You know what I mean? I realize it doesn't really help having very bad camera quality when you want to actually do good work.
That is true. Generally, you want a camera that works well in low light. In fact, I forgot to turn one of my lights on, but you can also get like good lighting, and that can help as well. It's usually somewhere in the between the two is usually the sweet spot, from what I found.
Yeah. But I was looking at, because I want to maybe get I don't want to maybe get another webcam. I'd rather get a proper camera, and then rather use the camera for. I was looking at the Sony A6 or whatever. Looked quite good.
Yeah, I've personally got a Canon EOS
Which is so good.
200D.
Yeah, 200 is also not bad.
Yeah, and that works pretty well. Only problem is that, so I use it as a webcam, but it has a problem of turning off every so often, and like every half an hour it will turn off automatically.
Yeah.
And also, it's annoying with, I can't use the autofocus with HDMI because it doesn't have clean HDMI if I'm using autofocus.
Yeah.
So yeah, generally would advise against getting a P1000 though, not because of any.
Yeah, but I don't think the P1000's made for this though. I mean.
Yeah, that is my point.
Yeah. No, it's not made for this. I want to get a functional camera that I can stream with, and if I wanted to put a lens on to do, then I can do something.
Yeah. I'm just going to turn myself down a little bit because people said I'm a little bit loud. And so, actually, someone said I'm not on the correct mic. Let me change that. It's annoying. It's been annoying lately. It won't. Yeah, that. Hold on 1 second.
No stress.
Okay, hopefully that's better. Let me know.
It sounds the same to me, so it doesn't bother. It's fine, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think I've got it set to the Yeti on Discord, but not on stream. Okay, everyone's saying much better. Okay, that's good. Anyway, let's get to the actual subjects. Philosophy. What do you think about philosophy?
What about it? It's a bit more. It's a bit vague. what I think of philosophy. I think it's a good thing, though. It's good to have philosophy because philosophy is what drives everybody's opinions.
Yeah, I sometimes get annoyed when it comes to people talking about certain things, and they're acting as though they're talking about something like science when they're actually talking about philosophy. And to me, that gets annoying because there is some times where you can use science to inform certain things, but a lot of the time you're talking about philosophy. Like if I say, "Oh, thing is bad because science says this," well, that doesn't mean that the thing is bad. You have to go, okay, well, what are we defining? What are we saying is bad about it, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's why I don't agree with philosophy of science. Because science is supposed to be empirical. It's not supposed to have anybody's opinions annotated towards it. Not that I have anything wrong with philosophy. I just don't think you should be mixing philosophy in with science.
Well, actually, I would disagree with that because when it comes to philosophy, I think that a lot of it informs how we do science. Like, it's this whole thing of how do you gain information about the world, right? Now we could go, okay, well, we just observe something and that's how we gain information. But then you'd be stuck with just observations, and to try and test things that are a bit more out there, you wouldn't be able to really get that.
No, you see, but this is why I have the issue. It's like well, we don't want to talk flat Earth, so I don't want to bring up the globe or anything. But when it comes to science, and for instance, black holes, okay, it's based on a philosophical view that you need it to exist. So therefore, you clump science into that philosophy worldview. So it doesn't make it science; it makes it pseudoscience.
Well, a lot of it is natural conclusions. So if I say that 1 + 1 = 2, we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
And then 1 + 1 + 1 = 3, and so on. The natural conclusion is that, and we say 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 is 4. The natural conclusion is that is 2 + 2 = 4 as well.
Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of times now, when it comes to things like black holes and that, it's a natural conclusion of something else. So if we take Einstein's theories of relativity as truth, I know you may not agree with that, but if we do, then the natural conclusion of that would be that black holes would exist. I think there's maybe another thing to do with like Schwarzschild radiuses or that.
No, I understand. But I understand what you're saying. But you understand, like for instance, now you're going to have to postulate further. Okay, because there's such thing as a black hole now, there has to be white holes.
That is something that I'm not sure, and I'm getting a lot of things in the background, which is really annoying. The one.
Yeah, I'm hearing some background. It's like muffled. Oh, there we go. It's gone.
Yeah, but where was I? I don't think you necessarily need white holes because we can actually get to how a black hole would form, and we can say, okay, this is how a black hole forms. It's when there's too much density in one area. I can't see the same thing for white holes.
Well, let's first go back to the black holes then. How do you know how a black hole is formed? How did you test it scientifically?
Well, it would be there's this thing to do with I mentioned it earlier, the Schwarzschild radius, where if you have enough matter within a certain space, then a black hole can form. There's been, I think, observations done with other stars going nova, and the way that they go nova fits with what is expected in
in the philosophy.
I'm sorry, this, the background noise is really distracting.
No.
But because it fits in with science, or fits in with the standard model, well, not standard model, with how astrophysics says that stars work and all that kind of stuff, we can then go, okay, well, if this kind of star goes supernova, then we'd expect it to then leave behind a black hole.
Yeah, but you see, that's what I'm saying. That just goes on to pseudoscience. That's all philosophical. It's not scientific. You haven't actually done any science there other than, say, making circular reasoning. If I say this, therefore something else, that's not science.
Well, then you run into the thing of if we observe that kind of thing happening and then it doesn't happen. So if we observe the thing of a star going supernova that would expect to create a black hole from that, and then it doesn't create a black hole, then there is a problem. But another point to make is that there have been observations done of black holes. The black hole. I can't remember the name. I think it was M88 or something.
The one that looked like a donut.
Yeah, those ones.
No, you see, there was just a whole bunch. There was an artist rendition of a whole bunch of data accumulated. It wasn't an actual photograph.
Well, a photograph is essentially a whole lot of data that's accumulated by sensors.
Yeah, but that was
Here we go.
Everything is ones and zeros. Data.
No, but it was literally not a picture because you can't see not light. So they can't observe a black hole. They can only render it as what they would think it would look like.
Based on data that anything that is rendered to a screen, like whether it be me on camera. Or
No, I understand. Digital, yeah,
data,
ones and zeros, yeah. But like I'm saying, with a black hole, you can't actually observe a black hole. There is nothing to observe because there's no light.
Well, there is light that comes from certain things that are around.
The event horizon.
Yeah, and that is the light that we can observe.
But there's no event horizon to see. That's the issue.
There's there is light that doesn't go beyond the event horizon, that is bent around the black hole, and that is the light that we can see, and that is the light that we observe.
Yeah, but you see, now we're getting into the argument of the philosophy of it. That's why my whole argument was it's not scientific, because now it's what we think it is, how it should be, and therefore it is. And that's why I said it's just philosophy. It's not scientific. You haven't actually done the science to prove what it is, what you say it is.
That's why we have all these theories stacked on top of theories, stacked on top of theories, and nothing actually proven.
We expect to see a thing, right?
Yeah.
Based on what our models say, and then we go, okay, we expect to see this. Do we actually see it? And if we actually do see what we expect to see, then then that doesn't confirm that the model is correct. It only fails to show that it's wrong.
Yeah, but that's what I say. It's like circular reasoning. You're not actually doing science towards it because you haven't tested anything. You haven't manipulated any variables. What variables have you manipulated?
You've tested to see if you've got a hypothesis, and it's that the images that we get of a black hole will look a certain way, and you see, okay, does this match the hypothesis? If it matches the hypothesis, then you have failed to disprove the hypothesis. If it doesn't, then there is a problem with the hypothesis.
Yeah, but that's not manipulating any variables. That's just, again, correlation. That's circular reasoning. That's why I say it's not scientific. Because you're saying we should see it this way. If we see it this way, then therefore it is. It's let's put it another way. Let's go back to ancient times. We see the sun rise, so therefore me waking up means the sun rose because I woke up. I saw the sun rose because I woke up, therefore the sun rose because I woke up. It's all circular reasoning.
that's not what's going on with the photography thing. What we're saying is this is what we expect to see, right? Based on this data, right?
Yeah.
And this hypothesis. We then test to see if that's what we actually see. Now, it might not be what we actually see. And in that case, if it isn't what we actually see, then we have shown that our hypothesis is wrong. If it is what we actually see, then we can't say that our hypothesis is definitely correct, but it lends evidence to it possibly being correct.
Okay. Would you understand that a hypothesis requires an independent and dependent variable?
Not in all cases.
Then it's not science.
That's
Because if
only
you're based on natural science, you require an independent and a dependent variable. If you don't have it in your hypothesis, you don't have science.
Not in all cases. There are different ways of doing science that don't require. Generally, there will be some kind of dependent variable. I agree with that, but it doesn't always require an independent variable or that you have to physically manipulate or anything like that. That is, there are times when you can have, hey, let's see how this reaction, like a chemical reaction, works. When you want to see, you don't have an independent variable, all you have is the chemical reaction and then the product.
Yeah, but that's where the science stems off of, because then you're going to say, okay, I saw this chemical reaction happen, but what caused that chemical reaction? And that's when the science comes in, because now you do have an observation, you're able to go and make an independent variable to figure the cause out for it. That's why the first step is always the observation.
Sometimes it's just, okay, I want to know what these two chemicals create. And that's the science that you're doing is taking something like, let's say, sodium and hydrochloric acid, putting the sodium in there and finding out what that actually creates.
Yeah, but once you observed it, then you have to figure out what caused it. That's what science is there for. Science is the original cause for the effect observed. So now that you've observed that effect, you need to say, okay, now my new hypothesis should be, okay, why did it cause this?
Well, no, my hypothesis could be something as simple as I think it will create hydrogen gas and sodium chloride, right? And also have a miniature explosion or something.
Yeah.
If that is what happened, if that is what is created from it, then that confirms my hypothesis. If it's not what's created, then obviously my hypothesis is flawed.
Yeah, but like I said, but you just now created a route, a study, because part of the scientific method is researching. So that's your part of research for your observation. So now you said, okay, I'm throwing this together. I want to see what chemical reaction makes. Great, it made a chemical reaction. Now what? Well, to move further, you're going to have to go and say, let's see why it caused this chemical reaction. And that's where science steps in. Science steps in for figuring out because science is about how nature works. Not, I just observe what nature is. Yeah, I can throw red dye into water and I say, okay, the water's going to turn red. Great. That's not science. I still have to say how it caused it to happen.
You don't always need to, sometimes it's not about the cause. Sometimes the cause is very simple. It's just, chemical reactions doing this thing. Sometimes it can be, okay, but what is going to be the product, right? A good example, I think, is there's been, I've asked, I think it was back in high school, I asked a chemistry teacher if there is any way to create a molecule that contains krypton, right?
Yeah.
And it could be possible to do so. And I can have a few hypotheses about what the properties of the molecule will be, and all that kind of stuff. But then I have to go and how it will be created. And the science involves trying to actually come up with the end product. It's not so much about why it happens. Sometimes we know why the things happen. If you're going to do something like stripping electrons from atoms to be able to make them bond to other atoms, then you know why that's happening. But what you don't know is the result of what that is going to be. If that makes sense.
No, I understand. It's the same as when you do kind of mechanism. Let's say trial and error is the words I would say. You know what I mean? It's like you're trying. Let's say you're trying to figure out how to fix something. Let's say you got a machine that's broken. Now you're trying to figure out why is it broken? Let's see what's going to fix it. If you're not going to figure out what the cause is and how to fix it, you're just going to carry on saying, "Oh, let's just put a patch there because I think that is why it's broken." Okay, that still didn't work. Okay, let's glue that part because I think maybe that's why it's not working. If you're not actually going to say, "Okay, let me see what the cause is for why it's not working," it's not going to be. You're not actually going to get to the cause of the problem and actually do get the solution. That's why science is there. The science is specifically about figuring out the cause for what you observe.
But not every machine is broken. Sometimes you're creating a machine to see how effective it is in
100% agree.
a particular problem.
100% agree. But that problem it's solving is based on you trying to figure out a cause.
Not necessarily. Like if I just want to make a machine that goes faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to know. I don't need to figure out the cause of how things go faster. I just need to figure out how to make things faster.
That is cause for faster. It's like a motor car. You have to know if you have to know combustion engine, it needs fuel and air. Those are the main causes. If you don't have the knowledge of those causes, you're not going to know how it's going to work. You're just going to say, okay, let's make a combustion engine. I don't know what's going to cause it to move, but hey, let's just throw hell to the wind and hope it works.
If you already know the causes of how it moves, then you don't need to try and figure out the causes.
Yeah, because science gave you
out how to make it faster.
That's my whole argument. Science gave you that knowledge to know what was the cause.
Yeah, and so if you're trying to create something that goes faster, it may be that you've got a hypothesis of changing this small thing about the combustion engine will make it faster.
Make it more efficient. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then you tweak that thing, and maybe it does go faster. Maybe it doesn't go faster. If it doesn't go faster, you've got to figure out something else to make it go faster. If it does go faster, then congratulations, you made a better combustion engine. It's about, at that point, you're not so much trying to figure out causes or anything. You're trying to figure out what produces a certain result.
Which is figuring out a cause. It's the same as when you take a car and you stick it on a dyno, and they say, "Oh, it's running very lean." You want to figure out why it's running lean so you can sort out the problem. You're not just going to say, "I don't need to know what's causing it. Let's just change a few things here and hope it works." You see, that's nonsensical. That's why I say it's not actually science what you're pushing here. I understand what you're saying where you can put things together and hopefully you get a reaction based on that, but that's not science. Science is specifically about figuring out how nature works, how things work in nature. And that's why it figures out the cause. So you're trying to observe something and you're trying to say, okay, this is the cause for that. Is it the cause or not? And that's simply just what science is.
Sometimes it's not about the cause. Sometimes it's about the result. There's, like, when it comes to LEDs, right, a lot of people knew how, we know how LEDs work. For a long time, we've known how LEDs work. And for creating, I think it was blue LEDs, there was a lot of issues with that because it wasn't so much about what causes an LED to work. We knew what causes an LED to work. It's how do you actually make that LED? There was a particular method that went through where it was, okay, will this actually produce an LED that produces blue light? And I think there's a Veritasium video on it.
Yeah.
Where you have to, and essentially the whole thing is there was a long process, and some people thought that it was nearly impossible to create a efficient blue LED. But eventually this one guy came up with a process for creating efficient blue LEDs.
Mm-hmm. And it was all based on cause and effect relationships.
Well, he wasn't trying to figure out a cause of anything. He knew that if you have this particular thing, then that should create a blue color.
Yeah, cause and effect. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, he already knew that. He wasn't trying to figure out the cause of it. He was trying to figure out, okay, how do I actually
make it more efficient to work? Yes. So he needed to figure out a cause.
LED itself.
Yeah. But that's the same. That's why he needed the cause. Because if you don't work on the cause, if you don't work on the efficiency of the cause, then he's not going to get his desired result. It's the same as it's the same as, let's say you're trying to bake a cake and you decide you don't want to put in a item in there that keeps it binding. If you don't put a binding agent in and you expect it to be bound, it's the same thing. You know you need a binding agent in there, so you need the cause to keep it binding.
Yeah, but if you want to come up with different flavors and stuff, you're no longer trying to work out the cause of anything. What you're trying to do is you're trying to just play around with different flavors and stuff. You're no longer in the realm of trying to figure out causes. You're in the realm of experimenting with different options.
I think there's some miscommunication thing going on, because I think we're saying the same thing.
Maybe it can be hard to figure things out. Or figure out, I know sometimes I've had miscommunication with people, and it's been simply because we're using slightly different language.
Yeah, that's what I said. We might be saying the same thing. We're just kind of talking past each other. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there is a little bit of that, but also I feel like there is a slight difference in how we process things. If that makes sense. I'm trying to say that you don't always need to science isn't always about trying to find out the cause. Sometimes science is about trying to figure out how to make a certain thing happen.
Yeah, and that's why I say yes. That is finding a cause.
Not necessarily. It's about how do you produce something, and or what is the result of something. Sometimes you already know the cause, you just don't know the result.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the cake analogy was pretty good, because it's like, oh, if I put if I want to get this flavor here, then the what I'm trying to do is find out the result of the flavor, but I don't need to work out any of the causes. I just need to.
Yeah.
Anyway, another thing that's related to philosophy, and I tuned in a little bit before I called you, and I noticed that every time I heard you talking about trans people, every time I listened, there was something going on about trans people.
Oh yeah.
Which is to do with philosophy, I think. A lot of it.
I would agree with that. I would agree. Trans, it is philosophy. It's people's opinions and beliefs. So I do agree with that.
Yeah, a lot of people will try to say, oh, you're people might say to me, oh, you're he, him, because because of science. And I'd say no, it's because of the social standards around. I'd say that there are social standards around how we address people. Like you wouldn't. A lot of people would find it rude to be called it, right? Even though it is a pronoun that you can use to address a person, it's just rude because it's generally used for objects.
Yeah, because but that's why I don't really. I mean, you probably understand that I'm not really the one that cares about pronouns and what people identify as their gender to be, because, like you said, it's just a construct. It's made on what people feel they should be labeled as.
But don't you think that in general there should be some kind of respect given? Like if I have known people that will go out their way to misgender cisgender people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because it annoys the cisgender person. And at that point, it's not about, like, that is not about some adherence to truth. That's about, just respecting that person. And I feel like when it comes to trans people, it is something where it isn't really an adherence to truth a lot of the time. It's just disrespecting someone because either you can't be, like, there are people that can't be fucked changing their attitudes or anything, and I feel like it's a respect thing.
Yeah, but you see, I'm on the other hand where I say, because I'm a Christian, okay, and I don't want to lie. If you get to someone and say, okay, I want to identify as a tree or a cat or whatever, and I know full well you're not a tree or a cat, do you think it's right to expect me to lie and go against my belief system just to appease you because you want to be called that?
I would say that it depends in which context, because as far as I'm concerned, there is a social idea of gender which is not related to sex. Hell, like even before I viewed myself as trans or anything, there would be a lot of people who would say that I wasn't a man. And all of a sudden, now that I'm trans, I am the epitome of masculinity somehow.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They're like saying, no, you're misgendering yourself. Is that what they're saying?
Well, it's gone from you're not a real man to you are now a man kind of thing.
Well, you should take that as a compliment, though, because it shows you've grown up.
Well,
You know
no,
what I mean?
the only thing that changed there was the way that I identify.
Well, I think it does come from, like you said, the context of what the person's discussing with you, maybe, because if you have to look at it based on actual orientation, you would have to agree your sex is male.
Oh yeah, I do agree that probably by most metrics, I have never checked my chromosomes, but I assume they're XY. But by most metrics, I am probably male, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure you agree. You were born with a penis. You don't have a uterus. You don't have a womb.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to the social contract, the social construct of gender, then I fit more in with being a woman rather than being if you look at my hormonal profile, like it is definitely like more in line with being female than being male.
Did you do any hormonal tests on this?
Yes, I did actually.
And you? If I can say, because you do know it also depends on the type of foods you eat and medications you take and things.
Oh yeah, I know that when it comes to like my hormonal profile has changed, but like there are different metrics that I can look at. But also there's when it just comes to socializing around people treat me like a woman. People I have been hit on in bars by creepy dudes, and I mean, they try, after they work out that I'm trans, they try to insist that they're straight, but, you know, they're still trying to hit on me. And so,
people do say weird things when they're drunk, by the way.
yeah, and it's one of those things where I am, not only are there a lot of metrics that I can point to where I fit in more with womanhood, there is the fact that I am treated a lot by society as a woman.
Well, let's put it this way. If you had to maybe cut your hair to a kind of, you know, man's hairstyle and, you know, maybe just do some exercise and get more of a build, do you think you would still be contacted more as a female?
I'm not sure, because there is definitely, like, I don't know if you've seen me try to pull off short hair, but I did not look very masculine when I have a wig that I use. I did not look masculine at all.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I've seen some women that look more manly than men, and some men look more feminine than females. You do get that. It is part of it. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to what were you biologically born as.
But then there's issues with that. Like, there are people where it called, like, the
Hermaphrodites.
The idea of, well, no, I'm just talking about, like, when it comes to gender dysphoria, right?
Yeah.
There are people that experience really intense gender dysphoria and forcing them to be referred to in a certain way causes them distress.
Yeah, and you would
you would
agree then that is actually a mental problem, though, not a physical problem.
Well, it's the best way to solve that problem is to refer to them how they want to be referred to.
But you see, that's where it comes back down to where I was saying I would find it more disrespectful towards me to say I should lie just to make you feel good about what you want to be presented as, where you're not actually presented as. Because that's based on, like I said, it's almost like a mental block kind of thing. You're trying to say, hey, I want to identify this, and if you don't agree with me identifying this, then you're just hated towards me. And I see it on the other way, like, hey, I'm a Christian, I don't really want to lie, and I find it insulting to expect me to lie just to appease what you think you should be.
Except you're not exactly lying, because there's a difference between sex and gender. Like, you can agree that by a lot of metrics I'm a male, but still treat me like a woman.
Not actually. I mean, when you grew up and you read, let's say you're in primary school and they're teaching you about Sally and Johnny, a boy and a girl, okay? Is that based on sex or is it based on gender?
Depends what it involves. If it involves any biological characteristics, then it's based on sex. If it's just based on social roles, then it's based on gender.
Well, let's say the book usually says Sally played with the Barbie dolls while John, her brother, went and kicked the soccer ball outside. It's very clear on who's the male and who's the female.
Yeah, those are the gender roles.
Yeah, so it's gender. It's gender explaining which one is female and which one is male.
But then, like, also you could have there's no reason why it has to be that way, right? There are a lot of gender roles that people don't feel like they fit into, and sometimes forcing people to fit into those gender roles for whatever reason or another causes distress. Like, you know, making me have, like, I hate having really short hair. Like, if you were to say, tell me to shave my hair off, that would be very distressful. And forcing me to fit into a gender role like that would be something that I'd, dislike.
Well, I actually had long hair at a stage, believe it or not. I was like a rocker. I had long black hair, but I never had the issue of, okay, yeah, I must have short hair or long hair or whatever. I mean, I think I'm also not under the peer pressure of worrying what people really think of me. So it doesn't bother me if they're going to label me as a woman or a man or whatever. It's not going to give me stress in that kind of basis, I would say. But it would be insulting if they're trying to say, okay, you're looking kind of feminine, where clearly I'm not. You understand?
Yeah, and that's like one of those things where, like if you're told to put on a dress, you're no longer flatzoid, you're flatzoidia, or I don't know what the feminine. But that kind of thing could cause you distress because it's not how you want to be perceived. If you go out and suddenly everyone's perceiving you as a woman because you're being forced to put on a dress, don't you think that would be distressful to you?
If they're trying to make me go something against what I am, that's a different story. Yeah.
But I would argue that there might be something deeper. Like, have you seen the movie She's the Man?
Yeah. Good movie, by the way.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. The actress for that, she actually got really depressed from filming that movie. She was experiencing gender dysphoria as a cis person because she was being forced to present male.
Yeah, but that's Hollywood for you, though. That's what you expect. They really get pushed into uncomfortable roles that they don't really want to be forced into. So yeah, I understand that. But that still doesn't change. It still doesn't change the fact that she went into it willingly to play that role. She signed a contract.
Whether it's willingly or not,
But the thing, does it change the fact that she was still a female?
No, it doesn't. But it is something where, by being forced to do that, she did experience.
She wasn't forced. She wasn't forced. That's the point. She went into it willingly. She signed the contract to take the role. She could have just said, "No, it's okay. I'm not." Amanda Baines is the actress, by the way. She could have just said, "It's okay. It goes against my values, and I don't want to do it." So she had the choice to do it. Obviously, she had, like you said.
Sometimes you don't realize what is going to happen from something. It is possible that you could sign up to be like a quarterback and not realize that you're going to get your head smashed in. Because you've watched one too many movies. When it comes down to these kinds of things, a lot of people don't realize that gender dysphoria is a thing.
Yeah,
You might be okay. Like Flatzoid, you might be okay doing like drag one night, right? For laughs, but then like being repeatedly, pushed into that position, you would then potentially develop.
Well, it's actually a very interesting thing because it's the same when you get into the fitness world and you see a lot of people that start taking steroids. They have body dysmorphia. It's the same thing because they kind of get a mental, block that they see other people and they start seeing, hang on, I've got to what my goal was, but it's not enough. I've got to carry on going. And they actually see themselves as small and fat. But in the meantime, they're not because they're comparing them to someone else. That's the same thing. But that's what I'm trying to say. All this is just mentally based. Even how you feeling about this, it's all mentally based. Now I can go into the spiritual aspects of it, but it doesn't help because I know you're not spiritual. So I don't really want to push my spirituality onto you. That's why I'm saying, yeah, when we talk about philosophy, I 100% agree it is philosophical.
But like when it comes to like, we can agree that a lot of this is mentally based. Like it's all in the head. Like if someone has depression, sometimes a good way to combat that is using SSRIs. Maybe not all the time, but like a lot of times you can give someone SSRIs and they will start feeling better. It's a mental problem, sure.
It does
but
have,
it-
but I mean, you can get side effects from it as well. I mean, even with, like I was talking now, if people in the
I mean, all
bodybuilding
medication,
industry, in the sorry?
all medication has side effects.
Oh, obviously, but I mean, even like with SARMs, with the bodybuilders, when they start taking steroids, they start getting attractions for the same sex, which they never had before because of the hormone imbalances and things that they get. So it can be based on physical, how can I put it, chemical imbalances that cause this mental side effect. It doesn't specifically mean the person is wanting to feel that way. They just feel that way based on side effects from the things that's happening. Your environment can even affect this.
But regardless of that, like, if there is a mental issue, right?
Yeah.
Then the best way to address anything mentally is to take steps to alleviate it. So in some cases, like with body dysmorphia, it may be a good idea to because dysmorphia usually means that there is actually nothing that you can, from what I've heard, like there's nothing that you can really do to achieve what is considered the optimal.
Yeah, you keep moving the ball.
Type.
You keep moving the ball.
Yeah. And in that case, it's something which is unachievable. In cases of dysphoria, there is an achievable standard that you can get to if you are treated a certain way, and you are like if you're treated a certain way, and you present in the way that you'd like to, right? Like
yeah.
I personally I get a lot of dysphoria looking at old photos, like when I was early transition, right?
Yeah.
Because I did not look great back then, but like now I don't get nearly as much dysphoria.
Yeah,
and
because you've kind of got
like,
used to you've kind of got used to how you feel about it now.
Yeah, well, not so much. Like it's one of those things where I look very different, but then also there's the way that people treat me.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are people. It does become uncomfortable when people go out of their way to, not treat me in the way that I identify. However, it is pretty good when people treat me in accordance with my the gender that I identify with.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where the solution there is not to try and convert me out of being trans. The solution there seems to be to be affirming.
Yeah, because I've seen it a lot as like, because of my beliefs and stuff, people kind of say I'm transphobic and I'm hateful and stuff, but that's not the case. I mean, I try and talk about like this because I care. You understand? Because we care about people. I've seen too much people that's gone through full transitions that has just had very bad impacts on them and their families around them and stuff. So it's mostly more negative than positive when it comes around us.
But a lot of that has to do with like how they're treated. Like if you
not actually,
if you get treated like shit, then of course your experience with doing whatever it is will be shit. Like if you're a nerd, right? Like I was a big nerd in school, and there would be people that would try to treat me like shit for being a nerd. It's not that I was a nerd and I shouldn't be a nerd and being a nerd is bad and being a nerd will cause you problems. It's that the way that I was treated was causing me problems.
Yeah, but it's not always how they're treated. A lot of people are peer pressured into making the transition, and then they regret it afterwards because they were peer pressured from, for instance, a doctor or their school or parents or whatever.
If anything, I was peer pressured away from being trans.
So you would take it that because of that, you almost have a rebellious side. It's like, well, because you're trying to do this, therefore I'm going to go ahead and, just do how I feel. But this is what I say. It comes to the spirituality side, when I believe.
Well,
But
I'd say that people were trying to pressure me away. Like there was more anything that was perceived as feminine was perceived as something bad and something that I shouldn't do. There was a lot of pressure for me to not be feminine and instead conform to masculinity. And for a time, I did, but that simply wasn't me, right? And so for me to go ahead and be trans is actually not conforming to that peer pressure. A lot of other trans people, I've spoken to a lot of trans people, and they've felt the same way. There's been a lot of pressure not to be trans, but to instead conform to gender roles, gender expectations. And they find by doing so that they aren't feeling fulfilled, that they actually feel worse about themselves. And then eventually, it takes a while, but they accept themselves as who they are.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand where you're trying to go from, but let's just say, okay, let's say you were I can't put that. I mean, I had a friend who was a tomboy. Okay, she had a lot of traits, like hanging with the boys and doing all the boy stuff, and that's how she grew up. I mean, I played with Barbie dolls until I was like 13, by the way, so I had it from both ways. I didn't bother me. But I understood where I was when I knew, okay, I was born a male. That's who I am. I mean, that's why I said it comes to spiritual kind of thing. If you understand God created you in his image and stuff, and you are made for that purpose. If you're trying to go against that, it's kind of like saying, God, you created me imperfect. But that's why I said, with me, I'm spiritual, you're not. So you can't really compare it the same philosophically. But to me, it's like, yeah, I understand. Okay, I'm born a male, and that's what I'll accept. I don't have to care what other people. I don't want to have to care what other people try peer pressure me into, because it's what I'm born as.
No one's trying to tell you you have to be a woman, right?
Well, people did try and say I'm a girl because I played with Barbies, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that is a thing that a lot of, but that's the whole thing with being a social thing, right? Because I would do I was very feminine as a kid, not by, I wasn't trying to be feminine or anything. I was just naturally feminine, and it's one of those things where I was pressured by calling me a girl, and that that's supposed to be an insult. That is what pressured me to try to be more masculine. And look, if you've seen, I could send you a photo of me with a beard. You would
yeah, I can imagine that.
You would probably agree that it was a bad idea. Everyone agrees that it was a bad idea, me trying to grow a beard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, and I don't know, were people calling you a girl as an insult, or was it just,
it was insult.
This kid is...
Obviously insult.
Yeah. And that's generally to try and pressure you to be more masculine.
Not actually. I like I said, I've never been a guy to fall under peer pressure, though. I've always just been a person that follows what I know. If I know the truth and a person comes and tries to peer pressure me on something, I just shove it off, kind of thing. It's not something that's bothered me, but I have seen some people that do struggle with peer pressure from both ways, and I do think that kind of hinged your decision, because you said it was like peer pressure, people trying to push you to be manly because they saw you going in that direction. So it is a difficult situation, though, because like you say, you do have womanly traits, as you put it, but that doesn't mean that makes you a female. I mean, like I said, that girl that I knew was a tomboy, she's still kind of tomboyish today, but she's married, has children,
Well,
perfectly still female, just has characteristics of being more butch, you could say, than other females. It doesn't change the fact she's still a female.
there is a difference. Like, firstly, there is a difference between gender and sex. Like, sex usually refers to the biological characteristics. Gender can refer to some biological characteristics, like generally secondary sex characteristics, but they aren't the most important things to gender. Often the most important things to gender are like cultural expectations, and obviously how you feel as well is another important thing, I'd say.
Yeah, but
even if you can't always express it in a certain way.
Yeah, but would you say then, if you're trying to label yourself with a gender, you kind of just lying to yourself then?
No.
How would you say you're not lying to yourself if you know you're a male, and because I'm going to gender myself female because I feel female? Wouldn't you say that is just going against your biology?
Not at all. Like, I know that I know that I probably have XY chromosomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my gender is more aligned. Like, as I said, like, I can go to a bar, right? And I'll get hit on by guys, creepy guys and all that. And it's my experiences actually my cultural experiences actually line up more with that of a woman's.
Well, I've got hit on by guys before, so I can't say anything. It didn't go too well for the guy, to be honest, but but yeah, guys have hit on me as well. That doesn't all of a sudden mean I look feminine. You get guys that just are attracted to other men.
I mean, I've been hit on by a lot of guys.
Well, to be fair, I mean, we've even said it before. You would make a pretty girl. You know what I mean? It's not like you're an ugly guy or anything. You do, if you had to put makeup on and stuff, I think you could fool a few people. So to be fair, I do.
I mean, so half the time I don't even put makeup on. I'll just just go out and because look, putting makeup on can be a hassle at times. Sometimes it's best to just go casual. But yeah, like, when it comes to those kinds of things, a lot of the experiences I have, there is a definite difference between the experiences that I had presenting as a guy and the experiences that I've had presenting as a woman. Those are not something those are not, sure, they're not determined by biology. Well, to be fair, like, I think part of it is determined by biology. Like, the fact that I'm on HRT has changed my face, but
see, that's the thing. HRT, the hormones, that is also issues why I say with the drug, with our bodybuilders, why they start having feelings for other men. It's because of the HRT, the hormonal imbalances. And that's exactly why you could be feeling the way you do more, because you're having hormonal imbalances because of the HRT.
Well, look, I had higher testosterone, so I don't think, and like, me deciding to start HRT was a result of, me going, yeah, I'm trans. It wasn't a result of me starting HRT. I don't think.
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's helping the process on.
But like, also, like, me starting, I felt like far better like after starting HRT.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because it's helping you ease into feeling that way. It's giving you a how can I put it? A dopamine of, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. It's what drugs do, man.
I'd say that there is, like, to some extent, it is, like, I will admit that I think that doing HRT has made me feel more comfortable as a woman, because, like, firstly, when I was thinking about doing HRT, I was like, yeah, I'll only do a little bit of HRT, but then I realized, actually, no, like, I feel more comfortable as a woman. So I do think that there is that, but I would say that a lot of my experiences, it's not. I don't think that it's a denial of anything to say that I'm a woman, because of the simple fact is my experiences align more with that of a woman. You know, a lot of times in school, I was called a girl. Sure, it was as an insult, but you know, it's one of those things where they weren't it wasn't trying to they weren't using language in a way to try and be super specific about my biology. A lot of people have used terms like girl and woman to refer to social standards.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing what everyone else has done for all of history.
No, but I understand what you're saying. But I'm trying to think how I can make this as respectful as possible, because I don't want to be disrespectful to you, and I really do appreciate this chat, by the way. And I think you're an awesome guy, and we do chat great. So yeah, I don't want to come out as sounding disrespectful towards you, but I think I'm gonna just say, yeah, I don't agree, because I'm like I said, I'm kind of old school. If you're born a certain gender, if you're born a certain sex, then your gender should mirror that. That's how I was brought up. You know what I mean? And I do believe that's
I was actually brought up in the same way.
Yeah, but you see,
believe it or not, I'm a little older than I look.
No, I understand. I mean, even me, I look a bit younger than I'm supposed to be. But the thing is, like I'm saying, is on the culture we brought up today, people just believe you can be what you want to be, even though it goes against what you are. And that's the unfortunate truth. So people have conditioned themselves to just accept it and say, because I want to feel this way, therefore I am this way, going against what you actually are.
I would say that this gets into a lot of the because the problem that we have with gender is that a lot of people have tried to tie it to sex, right? And there are people that feel comfortable being gender non-conforming, and you know, if you're a gender non-conforming guy or girl, that is fine, you know. But like, some people have for some people it is it goes a little bit beyond just being gender non-conforming. Like I was definitely gender non-conforming as a kid, and then I because I got made fun of it for that, got bullied for it, I really tried to be masculine, even though it really didn't work out for me. And I think that because there is this thing of gender that exists in society that is clearly separate to sex, that means that there are people that are going to feel dysphoric about that, because I think one of my ideas about gender is that from a young age we learn the concept of gender, and it gets very ingrained into us, and we have this idea of gender, of what is associated with each gender. Like girls are associated with Barbie dolls, boys are associated with sports and rough and tumble and that kind of stuff. I also hated having to do like rough and tumble sports as a kid too. It's one of these things where whilst gender roles exist, I think that it's best to respect trans people who don't feel comfortable in those gender roles, and rather than trying to be a gender non-conforming person, respect them as the gender that they wish to be. Because again, whilst there are gender roles, gender is clearly going to be a very different thing to sex.
Yeah, and that's why I say I think it's more disrespectful to expect someone to conform to call someone something just because they want to be called that, because you're telling us we're supposed to lie and call you something you're not. And I think that's more disrespectful to try and expect someone to conform to something that they don't agree with.
But calling it a lie just ignores the whole thing that I went on about.
No. But you understand what I'm saying? Because the thing is, you can associate yourself as a tree, okay? That if you want to be called a tree, that's what you want to be called. But it's wrong for you to expect me to call you a tree because you want to call yourself a tree, because I clearly know you're not a tree. You understand where I'm coming from?
Except, like, there are times when maybe someone would be called a tree, not because it's associated with, it may not be that they are covered in bark or whatever,
Yeah.
but it might just be that there is a social role that is called a tree, right? And it may be that some people, it may be that the social role is defined by knighthood or something, right? And someone gets knighted as a tree because they've been brave in war or something like that. But then it could be that there are some people that want to be treated that way for like other reasons. I don't know. Maybe they did fight in war, but they just weren't recognized by the queen or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they get called a tree socially. And then there'll be people going, oh, well, this person's clearly not a tree, not in any sense. They've never been knighted, and they're not a real tree. But if someone were to try and say in this hypothetical society that you have to actually be covered in bark and all that, they'd be missing the point, because obviously in that society, tree is also a social role.
Okay, but then I got another point to make. Let's say someone comes to you and you don't agree with them, but they want you to conform to what they want you to call them. And if you're going to conform to that, it's just going to help them to carry on lying to themselves because they're not what they are. And that just leads down a road of bad, negative things. Do you think that's fair to expect that person to say it's okay? Because it's the same as you saying to me, okay, I have to agree with what's going on, and I know full well it's not a good path to take. So I'm always saying it's okay to do it if I agree with it. Do you think that's fair on me?
I would say that it would. Now, this is where science actually does come into the discussion, because I would say that it comes down to does this person seem to be happier by a small social change? Like there are people. So if I say that I want you to call me, I'm no longer Planar Walk. I'm Global Walk, right? If I said that, I don't think that it would be that big of a change for the sake of comfort. If it is something where it is, let's say something where I'm just trying to think of a good hypothetical where something is saying, "Call me this," and it doesn't result in any they say, "Call me Sir Barrington Bolly Forward," or something like that, and it clearly doesn't result in any happiness, or actually something better would be like something really difficult to pronounce, and and something very, very difficult to pronounce and remember, like maybe that name from Wales, that's like Laren something go, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then it may be reasonable to say, hey, you don't seem to be getting much out of this, and it doesn't seem to be improving anything to do with you. In that case, then maybe. But like a lot of things, it's just, hey, call me this. It's not
But
hard.
you do understand that if you say it makes someone happy, you do know that's only for a short time, though, because you can be happy today and tomorrow you're not happy anymore. I think it's very naive to go on how you feel about something because it makes you feel happy today. Tomorrow it could be it doesn't make you feel happy anymore, and therefore you did all this just because it made you feel happy.
I mean, that's literally life. Like we do things like, yeah, sure, like you know, like getting that promotion. You do a lot of work to get that promotion, and it makes you feel happy. And the next day, it doesn't. It's life. You know, I think that just going with, hey, here's what we want to do in the here and now is perfectly fine. And like treating someone like shit because tomorrow they might not be happy. You know, like disrespecting someone because tomorrow they might not be happy about it, I think is not the good way to go about it.
I agree. No, I agree with that.
And so, like, when it comes to like trans people, like, yeah, treat them with respect. Treat them in a way that makes them feel happy. If they don't feel happy about it tomorrow, then you know, that's on them. You know, like a lot of people say to me that like I'm gonna regret transitioning, and I've thought a lot about it, and it's like I would go, well, if I regret transitioning, you know, tomorrow, then I wouldn't look back on it and go, oh, I wasted a bunch of effort and a bunch of time. I'd look back on it and go, at least it made me happy for the time that it did.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I actually wanted to ask something now and I can't remember. But I am enjoying this conversation, by the way. I think it's a good, productive conversation.
Hopefully I've managed to like sway you a little bit on that, because I do think that it is something which you know, can help a lot of people. If like, it doesn't have to be a thing of you know, you have to treat someone according to their biology. I think it's just a thing of you know, treats people with, you know, if someone wants to be called a certain name and use certain pronouns, then it isn't that much effort to do so.
Yes, yeah, and that's where, like I said, I disagree, because it's kind of an insult to me when you try and tell me I just have to conform to what you think you are. You see, so that's where I'm like, I can respect what you want to be, but I can't respect to call you that because that's not what you are. You understand? So that's why I'm like, I'm trying to put it in as respectful way as I can. It's kind of insulting to expect someone to conform to someone to lie.
Don't you think that it's like insulting as well to like people that say, hey, this is who I am, and then you say, well, no, it's not. Based on this.
Well, the thing is,
based on this.
Yeah, but let me put it another way. You agree you were born a male.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So we know you're a male, but you want us to call you female. So you trying to say you're something that we know you're not.
Except I'm not trying to say that I'm female. The only thing that I try to say that I'm female is that my hormonal profile is more female. But when it comes to like chromosomes, or you know, all the other things and all that, I'm probably male.
Yeah.
I don't deny that. When I say that I want to be referred to by she, her, or she, they, it's not something where I'm saying I am male. It's something where I'm saying, hey, I embody more of the characteristics of women as a social category, not of men.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's also telling me, okay, I must just accept because you feel that way, I must conform to it. And that's what I'm saying. So it comes from both sides. I feel that it's not right that people expect us to conform to it because they feel that way, where you think it's not right for us not to conform to it because you feel that way.
I mean, we conform to certain things because people feel a certain way all the time, right? Or people say that they feel a certain way all the time. Like, you if someone's, one day someone is Mrs. Harrington, and the next day they're Mrs. Heather, and it's like, well, her last name has changed based on how she feels. It's because of we can try to say that last names are a result of you can't change your last name because it's showing your biology and who you're descended from, but in reality it's a social thing, right? And people change their last names when they get married.
Yeah, I don't really see the link between
that's all
that.
A feeling. That's all a feeling. You can try and justify why you don't want to call someone's last name because because they're not actually descended from a I forgot the last name that I used, Heather. They're not actually descended from someone whose last name is Heather, so therefore and it's like, well, no, they've just changed their last name because of how they feel. And it's it's the same thing.
I don't really see it the same thing. But I do agree that we should respect each other. I just don't agree that people should expect us to conform to it and see it as disrespect when we don't conform to it. That's the only thing I say I don't agree with.
I think that when it comes to those kinds of things, the conforming to it is essentially due to the fact that it'll, like with the last name thing, if you call someone by the wrong last name, sometimes they can get upset about it because it's like, no, I'm married to this person. And I think it's the same with trans people. Like they can get upset about it, but upset about you referring to them with the wrong pronouns. Because that's not the way that they identify anymore. It's simple. It's a simple case of, hey, is this going to make someone? Is this going to upset someone? Right? If it is going to upset someone, then I should probably, if referring to someone in the wrong way is going to upset them, then I should probably refer to them in the way that they prefer to be referred to. Right?
No, I don't agree. Because you're saying it's fine, I should just lie. Where, like I said, my belief system is I'm not supposed to lie. So if you're saying, heck, I must lie just to make you feel good, that is being a disrespect to me.
But then it's the case of, is it really a lie? No.
Yes, it is a lie.
They're talking about social aspects, not biological aspects.
It's still a lie, though.
Someone changes their. Someone could say, "Oh, I refuse to refer to you by this last name because that has no relation to who you're descended from or even your job." Like if some people have last name of Smith, right? They're not a blacksmith. How dare they call themselves Smith?
Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. That's like total non sequitur.
But like someone, you see how someone could say, "Hey, you were lying if you refer to your last name as Smith because you got married to someone whose last name is Smith, who's not even a blacksmith," right?
No, if you're married and your surname changed and they call you that surname, I don't think it's really an issue. The issue here is if you're identifying as something that you're not. You're wanting people to lie just to make you feel good about yourself, and that's where I see it as disrespectful towards the person.
But I do identify with the social aspects of womanhood. Where is the lie there?
You're a man. You're a male. That's the issue. You are a male. You can want to be called a female because you feel that way, but you are a man.
I'm not saying I want to be called a female.
A woman.
I'm saying that I identify with the aspects of womanhood, which socially makes me a woman. There is no lie there.
Do you know that you see, this is the issue. This is what I'm saying. This would be considered a mental problem because you're trying to identify as something that you're not. I can identify as a tree frog. I'm not a tree frog, but I want to identify as a tree frog because I feel like a tree frog. Do you understand the issue? That doesn't make me a tree frog.
If someone has their last name as Smith and they're not married to a blacksmith, they're married to someone whose last name is Smith, who's not even a blacksmith, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
That can also be considered a mental condition because they're wanting their last name to be something that they're not.
Okay.
Well,
you see, but you see, that goes deeper. It's like now you get males that try to identify as female and they walk into a girl's bathroom. Do you think that's fair?
I think that there are other social things that need to be worked out there rather than just like when it comes to bathrooms, I think that the best thing to do there is to make sure all the stalls have it so that you can't see into someone else's stall. I think that's a different social thing. And in fact, that kind of stigma was used to say, oh, we need to keep lesbians out of women's bathrooms back in the day when it came to gay rights.
Oh, that's quite interesting. But yeah, like I say, because I mean, I think you would agree if you just got some weird old pervert man trying to identify as a woman, which gives him now the right to go into the woman's bathroom, you would agree that's just sick. And because people disagree with him, therefore they are transphobic.
I would say that if someone wants to go into the woman's bathroom for whatever reason, they usually can. If someone wants, it doesn't always take much effort to pass as a woman. Sometimes it can take a bit more effort, but it doesn't always take too much effort.
Well, I can tell you something. Yeah, in South Africa, if any person saw a man going into a woman's bathroom for no reason like that, the guy will probably end up in a hospital, to be honest. And it's not very easy.
But the people that get most affected by this kind of stuff are the people that saying, oh, because of this rare instance that could happen, we need to stop trans women from using the bathroom. That doesn't stop the guy that is still going to go in there anyway. What do you think? Do you think if someone's going into a bathroom to break the law, do you think that another law is going to stop them? No. The issue that you get is that it hurts not just trans women, but also cis women that are, butch, if they look really butch or look rather masculine, that don't conform to ideals of womanhood.
That's also an issue because the thing is, 90% of the time, you can clearly see if it's a man or a woman, though.
Not always. There are times when sometimes people have literally gone. There's times when cis women have gone to the bathroom, and then someone is like, "How dare you use a woman's bathroom?" And they're like, "I have a vagina."
Yeah, but I'm saying 90% of the time, you do get those rare cases where you can't really tell, which is odd. But yeah, I mean, we spoke about it before we started talking about a case of a guy who raped a whole bunch of women, and then he changed his gender to woman, to female, and he ended up going to a woman's prison for raping women. Now, how is that in any way fair to the system of to the people that actually are victimed by this?
And in that case, so firstly, I would want to be careful with how things are defined. But if we're talking specifically about that, I would say that there should be times where that shouldn't. If someone says, "Oh, I identify as this," to try and get out of, when they clearly, if someone says, "I identify as this," without having gone through any attempts to change their gender beforehand or anything like that, then clearly they're trying to subvert where they should be placed.
But wouldn't that be you divining his motives though? Because you're saying just because he did it afterwards, then therefore he's just clearly doing it to get his way.
Well, in some cases, like when it comes to trans people in prisons, sometimes you do have to consider like a trans person's safety. In the case of someone who is very masculine presenting and who has done something, done something bad and is clearly trying to get out of that, it's like I feel like sometimes you can take some liberties to go, hey, this person doesn't need protection. It doesn't need any kind of special protection. However, when it comes to trans women in prisons, like actual people who have, like if for whatever reason I went to prison, the flat earthers took charge and I got thrown in prison somehow. I think that for me, I would be at a particular risk of having bad things in prison happen to me that would be the same if not similar risk of if a cis woman got thrown into a male's prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I just wanted to bring up like issues like that up because I think there's a lot of issues revolving around just, hey, because I feel this way, just conform to it, and that's where I leave this. So I'm like, I don't want to be disrespectful or anything, but I do see it as disrespectful to expect us to just conform to a lie. That's what I was saying.
Sometimes there are niche cases, and in niche cases, it is. Sometimes you do have to think about, okay, like prisons, for example. It's like a very niche case where it's like, if we're going to draft laws about this, we need to make sure that the laws don't allow for people to abuse those laws. In everyday conversation, I think it's fine to just respect, like, hell, when it comes to pronouns, like, just using someone's preferred pronouns, like, it's really easy to do. It's not, like, some people prefer to be referred to as they, them, right? And in fact, I'd like it if everybody got referred to by they, them pronouns, and I don't see, like, even if you try to, like, somehow, make some biology argument about, how pronouns are connected to biology or whatever. The existence of they, them pronouns shows that it's a social construct. The idea of pronouns itself is a social construct, just a way to refer to people. I have been referred to as she, her multiple times by people that clearly knew that I was a male, but were trying to,
make fun. Yeah, make fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, sometimes it's just very easy.
Yeah, and then
to accommodate people.
Yeah, and then the last question was asked is, would you think it's fair to expect someone to call you what you want to be called just because you want to be called that way?
I think people do it all the time. Like, if you want me to call you Flatzoid, I will call you Flatzoid.
Yeah, that's just what's his name. You can call me on my name, but like I say, if you, for instance, get someone and you expect them, they must just call you that name. Don't you think it's kind of hypocritical to just expect us, okay, because you want to be called that, we must call you that. But how am I putting this? My train of thought is lost now. But I think you get the point. I think we'll both just sit with, we respect each other, but we disagree. We agree to disagree. How's that?
Yeah, I do want to move on, but because I think people are starting to feel that we are going.
In circles.
My closing thought on this, I guess, will be that it's not hard to just simply respect someone, and a lot of it is all social constructs anyway. It's not as though we're trying to talk about truth and some objective truth in half the cases. It's just, hey, this is common courtesy. Like if I accidentally call someone she, her when they clearly identify as a guy and have whatever, it's that I don't think that's a lie. It's just a mistake on my part, and I think that. Yeah, I think that it's just a common courtesy that should be afforded and makes people live better lives if you be respectful.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we should try to be as respectful as each other, but we shouldn't expect someone to conform to what we want just because we have beliefs.
I'd disagree. I'd say that everyone has like things that they'd like other people to conform to, but as I said, names.
Yeah, because like I said, I could have pushed Christianity tonight quite, but I haven't touched it because I understand you're not spiritual. You understand? So I could have pushed it onto you, but I understand to respect you not being a Christian. I don't need to do that.
We could have a Christianity discussion sometime.
Yeah, that'll be great.
I do want to get to super chats because there's been 3 of them. So the first one is: does Flatzoid know that it has nothing to do with what you eat, etc.? What an uninformed person.
No, what you eat when you have hormones definitely plays a role in food you eat and the type of chemicals in your body and stuff. Don't know where this guy's coming from, but it's definitely GMOs have been found to change hormonal balances as well.
I'd disagree with that because like a lot of people say like GMOs, where like everything is genetically modified, right?
Practically everything. Practically everything.
Yeah, everything has been genetically modified. Even things that, if you grow a carrot and it's not blue, that carrot has been genetically modified to be orange.
Yeah, it never used to be, by the way. Even bananas have changed.
Yeah, like everything has been genetically modified. I don't think that like GMOs are something that, do something specific about hormones. I think it's just, hey, let's try and grow this thing in a different way.
Well, let's look at mostly meat products, probably. Okay, things that let's say on the farm they push a lot of hormones into them to grow quicker so they can get fat. And a lot of girls today hit puberty much earlier because of those hormones. Some girls even grow beards at like age 10, 11 because of these hormones. So yeah, it's definitely, it's been shown that chemicals and hormones and stuff in foods and things do change how a person's body reacts.
I don't know enough about the subject to agree or disagree. I do know that when I take hormones, it changes how my body works. But I would say that I don't think these are in significant amounts to change all that much. Maybe it does change a little, but a lot of people make claims about how foods change. Because I have like soy or something, people think that I'm a low testosterone beta male. I had high testosterone before I transitioned. There's a lot of, I think people a lot of times will say, oh, this is the culprit, when in fact it's not necessarily the culprit, and sometimes there's been no link shown, especially like with the whole, a lot of people try to say that, phytoestrogens are a result, will cause people to be more feminine, when that, from all the studies that I've shown, none of them have shown that phytoestrogens cause people to be more feminine.
Okay, but yeah.
I think that there's a lot of things where people make assumptions about certain things, and those assumptions get spread around and whether those assumptions may or may not be incorrect.
Yeah. But
another person, Wouter, I forgot how to pronounce his name. God damn it. Said, Flatzoid, your antiquated thoughts about gender is just why you'll never understand it. From your religion, you need to forgive and accept and embrace differences. What you do is just the opposite.
No, what my religion teaches, it's part of sodomy. It's blasphemous to God's image, and it's seen as something that's very bad. It's, how can I put it? It's separation from God. So based on my religion, I have to actually talk about it to say, hey, it's a sin. God forgives. God loves you, and I'm showing respect. I mean, I haven't been disrespectful tonight at all. I disagree with you, just like you disagree with me. But I mean,
here's a question.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. So if I were a Christian, I would take the position, and I think there are Christians that take this position. God gave us the mechanisms to be able to change gender at will. Like being able to take hormones is something that God built into us to be able to change like aspects of ourselves.
No. If you look at, for instance, let's say Leviticus 20, verse 13. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed the abomination, and they shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them. It's seen. It's really bad. Why do you think Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed? Because of sodomy.
Because they were not because they were not I believe in, I can't remember what thing in the Bible it was. It was because the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was
sodomy. That's why it's called Sodom. It was sodomy.
If I remember correctly, the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was that they weren't.
They were sexually impure. They were doing abominations.
No.
Yes. The sodomites. They were sodomites.
It was to do with hospitality.
No, nothing got to do with hospitality, mate.
If someone has the verse on hand, please, I can't remember the exact verse.
Jude 1 verse 7. Jude 1 verse 7. Just as Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding cities, which likewise indulged in sexual immorality and pursued unnatural desire, serve as an example by undergoing a punishment of eternal fire.
I can't remember the exact verse. I think it's in like Matthew or something where it said the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was lack of hospitality or something like that.
Sexual immorality, mate. They were sodomites.
I don't know enough about the religion to argue, but I do remember something about hospitality as far as I remember.
No, they were very hospitable to people. They wanted people to have orgies with them constantly, so they were very hospitable.
I mean, if you're saying that someone must indulge in your desires, then that doesn't sound very hospitable.
No, I'm just pointing out because
didn't they want to rape the angels? Didn't they want to rape those angels that came?
Yes,
isn't that why they went into his house? He invited them in because everybody out there was wanting to rape on him. See?
Yes, absolutely.
They're being very hospitable. It sounds like at the very least, there was definitely a thing of them not being hospitable to. Someone said Matthew 11:12. Matthew 11:12. What was that? Truly I tell you, among the days of John the Baptist will now the kingdom of heaven. I don't know.
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Anyway,
because John the Baptist is talking about Jesus there, by the way, in Matthew 11:12, saying he's greater and no one's greater than him.
Someone said, hold on, if I switch to live chat. No, nothing came up. Anyway, the person that I can't remember how to pronounce the name of, who probably who may have sent me a message about, said, ask him this: what does it really matter what you call yourself? I identify as Q. Voila, better add a gender to the list.
That's what I said. When it comes based on my belief system, it would be called a lie if I just had to say you're something that we know you're not. And the Bible speaks about we're not supposed to lie. So I don't want to go and lie and feel good about it, because then it wouldn't be Christian-like. It would be actually be going against what I believe, because I am then just saying, okay, it's okay to lie.
Yeah, I think we've been over this enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone knows what I think that you're not exactly lying into. Strawberry Blush said, religion is a position on the state of reality. Pronouns are just a way to refer to someone. Apples and oranges.
I'm going to give the same answer again, so it doesn't help answering that.
I would actually agree with them, because like saying that God exists, like saying that a God or gods exist, is hey, this is a position on reality. Pronouns are a social construct. If you know, like it's all social politeness. Like in 50 years, it could be that everyone is just referred to as she, her. You know.
Yeah, and that's the way they're brought up. If that's the way they're brought up to believe in, but like I said, but this is why do you think they're pushing so hard now when children are born in the hospitals not to put their sex there?
I haven't seen that, but like it could be a thing of saying, hey, it could just be a thing of, hey, we don't want to unnecessarily force gender roles onto kids.
So you see, that's what I'm saying. It is linked to sex then. If you're trying to say you don't want to force a gender role on someone, then it is linked to sex. Because if a child is born a female, that's their sex. If a child is born a male, that's their sex. Then if it's just a construct for them to be called something, then why do they worry if they're going to be called male or female, even though they born sex? You understand?
Like as I said, I haven't heard them saying, I haven't heard anyone saying, this is a new rule or anything for hospitals. But like, if someone is trying to do that, I would assume that it would have to do with, trying to not force gender roles on anyone. That's what I'd assume at least. Or sometimes I do know that when it comes to sex is actually a marker for gender. I know that on New Zealand birth certificates, they actually, like, sex on your birth certificate just means gender. They use it in a, I assume that there's some legal reason, but like it's very weird the way that they they do it. But yeah, I don't know enough about that to make any definitive statement.
Yeah.
Stephen Jarvis says that life is too short. Everyone should be allowed to live their life as they want to.
And that's where I was to disagree to a certain extent. If everybody could just live the life that they want to, hey, someone wants to be a serial killer, he can just live the way he loves to. Go and kill everybody that you want to. Who is anybody to judge him? Hey, this guy wants to be a rapist, a serial rapist. Let him rape everybody because he wants to live as a rapist. Who are you guys to judge him?
I would say that, like, freedom to live your life as you want to does not mean freedom from consequences if you do something bad. Like people say freedom of speech, right? I'm sure you're someone that loves free speech, right?
Obviously. I think everybody, free speech is a good thing.
That doesn't mean, but that doesn't mean that, freedom from me saying, hey, I disagree with you, right? I have my own freedom of speech to disagree with you on things. So me trying to say, hey, I don't think this like me responding to you isn't me silencing or getting rid of your free speech. Likewise, your freedom to do what you want stops when you are impacting someone else.
Look. The reason why I'm saying this, like Jarvis's statement, is because it's nonsensical. It goes against all logic and reason. This is why Christianity is basing its morals on Jesus, on God, because we have a point, a reference to base all our morals on. So yeah, we can live a life we want to based on those morals. Not just we can live a life how we want to, because then anybody can do what they want. And who's anybody to say that they're not allowed to?
I would say that, like, when it comes to these morals, a lot of morals are up for debate. I think that if, like, someone wants to say that, like let's say weed, that's being a big one. They say that you should be thrown in prison for smoking weed. I disagree with that. I think that they're not hurting anyone. So it comes down to, hey, if you're not hurting someone, live your life how you want to, you know?
Okay.
Anyway, Strawberry Blush says, lots of love, Planner, heart emoji, transgender flag emoji, sup, Flatzoid.
It's good to see you guys. Yeah, and I have to say hi to everyone in your chat as well.
Yeah, I've got a...
Even Brenda.
Stringer News for $5 says, if your religion is all existential, good for you, but don't make me live by that rule. I'm sick of the bullying from religious zealots.
And that's why I didn't push it on you tonight, because I don't see the need to push it on anybody.
I would say, personally, that having a discussion about something like saying, hey, this is what I believe, this is, and, people maybe disagreeing with that. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily pushing, like, it's when you I would say that pushing it on people is when you try to make people abide by it.
Yeah. Imagine I came on you. Yeah, imagine I came on you and say, hellfire, just because you don't believe in what I believe. I don't agree with that approach to things. So yeah, that's what I say. I don't need to push my beliefs. You know my beliefs. I know you don't believe it, so I don't push it. That's how we just had a normal, respectful conversation. So, yeah.
Anyway, I do want to get to other topics, because there were other topics that I did have lined up that I'm really excited to get to.
We'll have to do those another night, because I got work in the morning and it's already 12 o'clock.
Ah, damn.
So
I was really wanting to get to city design, because that's a fun topic.
City design, what's that?
So my preferred type of city is a city where you can get where you need to be by walking within 15 minutes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Preferably 5 minutes, because 5 minutes, I have the ability to do that. Like, sometimes it takes me a bit longer. Like later today, I'm going to go to the doctor, and that's like a bit longer walk, unfortunately. But
have you ever heard of herding before?
What's that?
Herding.
A little bit.
That's practically what 15-minute cities are made about.
I'd say that it's about convenience, and also the fact that, like, here's the thing. I'd say that suburban hellscapes are actually worse for the whole herding thing, because it's like, what do you need to get anywhere? You need a car. What do you need to be able to drive a car? You need a license. You also need to be able to afford the car, and you need to be able to afford petrol. Your ability to get anywhere is actually severely limited by corporations.
Okay, let me put it this way. If you're going to stay in this 15-minute city, you're not going to be able to own a car. You're not going to be able to you're going to have a social credit score that if they decide you're not keeping up to it, they can just block everything. You're going to literally be stranded with no way to do anything because you've been herded into a position where you can't defend yourself. That's practically what it is, man. It's herding.
And meanwhile, in the real world,
that is the real world, mate. But like I said, we can talk about this next time, if you don't mind, because it is quite late. So we can definitely. I'd love to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, I wanted to. This is one of the main ones that I wanted to get to. But yeah, I'll let you go. But yeah,
But we'll talk again, then we can have another thing, because I actually enjoy this discussion, by the way. I think we can have some awesome discussions.
Even though we disagreed, there was at least some civility.
Yeah. Definitely. I think we can be civil with each other. I think you agree.
Yeah, but anyway, I'll let you go, and I'll talk to my audience about the conversation I kind of started there and get my thoughts.
Awesome. Sorry about that. It's kind of late. I mean, we can definitely do another time. So hit me up on Discord again, then we can work out a scheduled event to talk again. Then we can do that city one if you want.
Okay.
Sure. Really appreciate it, man. And thanks for the chat. And just know I am praying for you, man. I do care.
I've got a lot of people praying for me.
Well, anyway, Strongs, man, and it was great having a chat. We'll chat again.
All right, take care.
Cheers, you too. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Wow.
Yeah, guys.
Wow. In the words of Sov, I think he's batshit crazy. Absolutely.
I'm actually
Well, I did enjoy the chat.
The chat was definitely
civil. The mic again, Nate.
Yeah, chat was definitely civil, but he's so deluded about things. Definitely, it's just a social club. And changing your name is completely different from changing your gender. And to me, sex and gender just the same thing. I understand,
linked, but he actually showed how it was linked when I showed him how it was linked when I was saying that's what they want to start doing in the hospitals, where they want to not put the child's sex on the birth certificates until they decide what it should be. So it shows gender and sex is linked.
Yeah, I mean, can you choose your gender when you were born? No. Why is that? Because your gender's there. It's there. It's given to you. You're grown in the womb that way.
There's rare circumstances where the hermaphrodites, when they got both female and male, but they usually look on seeing which one is the more
dominant.
The more dominant.
Yeah.
And how can I put it?
Well, I read this book one time where one of them hermaphrodites got itself pregnant and gave birth to these twins, and then raised the twins as though they were one person. Like one guy had to be in while the other one was out.
Whoa.
Yeah, man.
That is mental.
But I think it's gonna be. I would like to have another discussion with him. But wow.
I'm sad you didn't go harder, man. But I get why you didn't.
I'm trying to be respectful and plant a seed rather. You know what I mean? Because I could have gone full out blown and just being harsh all the time, but I didn't see the need for that. I think his chat was doing that enough for him.
Yeah, like you were saying about the tomboy thing, though. Like, women have man traits. Some of them do, and some guys have traits. It doesn't mean we should go about chopping your genitalia off. You know what I mean?
I just told the wife, she just walked in. I says, Flatzoid had a transvestite on, and then she goes, "Oh, that's nice."
Oh, that's nice. I'll show. But yeah, like I said, I don't think it's respectful towards us to say we should just conform to what they think they are, which I don't agree with, because why should I feel fine about lying if I know it's lying?
Yeah. And me wanting to be called PJ even though my name's Paul Joe, I mean, that's different from wanting to be a different gender. That's completely different.
That's
Changing
totally
your
different,
name
yeah.
is something completely different from changing your. Well, it's your biological bloody sex. It's your gender. You can't change it. Sorry, you just can't.
Mhm. But I think it was a great discussion. And then I just want to see. Thank you, Roger Little, for your $5 super chat. That he said that earlier. He said, "I will. That's all they have, lol. They don't have physics." So thank you for that super chat. And then Tony Whitcomb sent a £5 super chat where he says, "Whatever happened to the phrase sticks and stones? You know the rest." So yeah, thanks guys for your super chat. Sorry I couldn't read it out, but I do appreciate it. But yeah, you guys have any closing statements?
I mean, yeah, it was interesting. It was civil, but I mean, I think it's still total delusion. I think it's still a sickness, like Saul says. I still think it's either a sickness, or a spiritual thing, like demons. You know, and or both. You know what I mean?
Well, if you
I
think
think
about
most
it,
mental
what happened in
illness
the
is a
old days?
spiritual thing.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened in the old days where someone would go say, "You know what? I've been abducted by aliens," or "I believe I'm a fruit pumpkin," or whatever. They would immediately say, "Okay, there's the psychologist. Let's send you to a mental institute to see what's wrong." These days, they get praised for it.
Oh, it's so brave. What?
It's so brave.
Yeah, you're such a brave boy.
So it's,
I mean, girl, whatever. You know, it's just what do you say? Just crazy. I'm sorry.
but yeah, it's okay. I mean, like I said, I'm just showing him God's love, and that's about it. We couldn't even get into the spiritual stuff with like demons and all that because I was hoping he was going to bring his plushie up.
I was thinking you were going to go from a epistemology standpoint of, since you're an atheist, why is it bad that I don't call you by your pronouns? Because you have no reason to base ethics on.
Yeah, I was almost getting there. Didn't you see when I was saying we got our morals to stand on? But he didn't catch that hook. But I mean, like I said, I also wanted to end anyway because it's late and being on for a while.
Was Brenda losing her mind in the chat?
Oh yeah, from the beginning till now, Brenda's telling everybody just flag his channel. Let's get his channel taken down for hate speech. There's no hate speech shown.
We are all love speech. That's my love speech.
Absolutely.
Brenda does know. Brenda can lose Brenda's channel if Brenda reports me for hate speech, and it's find out there is no hate speech. Oshiro, my friend, thank you for your $2 super chat. Really appreciate it. Would you kill your daughter if God asked you to? First of all, God is with a big G. And secondly, God wouldn't ask me to kill my daughter because Jesus already came. If you understand the story behind it, God was testing Abraham to see if he was faithful enough to be able to do that. He wouldn't have let him kill.
No, he wouldn't have. He already told Abraham through him that nations will be built. So it had to. He knew he wasn't going to have to kill his son. He had faith that God would stay.
Why do you think? Why do you think he never? Why do you think he said to him, "God will supply the rams"?
What are you guys attacking me about?
Exactly.
So yeah, if you know the story behind it, Toshiro, you will know that no, God wouldn't ask me to kill my daughter.
No.
All right.
Jesus already came, man.
All right. All right.
Okay, sorry. Closing statements, guys. There we go.
Yeah, don't mind.
All we need is fish sticks, rubbers, and a getaway car. We're good to go.
But thank you for the super chat, by the way, Toshiro. Appreciate it, man. Okay, so guys, tomorrow night we're going to be doing the part 2 of the Peter Markley. And then I'm waiting to hear from Sean when he's available so we can do the part 3 of that debate review again for the biblical cosmology. So yeah.
I've got part 2 of the Bill Johnson thing in the morning. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so tomorrow, part 2 for PJ. The Johnson thing was also streamed this morning as well. And then Sov, you got a show?
Yeah, I'm going to go on tonight, 9:35. We'll be on.
And then Iron, I'm not sure if he's here right now. Ironworks, you got a show coming up?
I think he's gone away from his computer.
Yeah, probably. Well, guys, do subscribe to Ironworks as well. He's definitely got a channel growing and stuff, so do support him, guys. And then Nate.
I'm gonna start streaming probably in a few days. I'm not gonna lie. I can't. I can't sit home and do it. But I mean, depending on what it is, it's gonna be probably pretty entertaining, whatever it is.
Also, Roger's streaming.
Yeah, no, go to my channel. I'm gonna be posting my Rumble link. But if you just go to Rumble and you search up Nate John 11, I'm already there. So
Awesome.
Also, Roger's going to stream tomorrow. He's already got a stream set up. Yeah. Quickly go to his
So
channel.
Roger Ledwell, guys, he's starting to stream. Peter's putting the link in.
Yeah, I'm just getting to his
And then Joe, what's up, man? You got anything to say?
All right.
Yeah.
I guess not. Nope. He says no. Okay. Well, that was a good show, guys. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any thoughts on what was the chat, if you have any disagreements, just comment. I'll be more than happy to answer them in the comments. Thanks again for coming. If you haven't already, hit the likes, share the show. Let everybody know we were live and we are going live tomorrow. I really appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate everybody that supports this channel. So